Welcome, welcome, everybody. Welcome, Happy New Year's! It's 2024, which means we have new goals, new honoring, new this, new that, new. That's what it's called, New Year. We're starting a brand new cycle. We're starting a brand new anticipation of who we're choosing ourselves to evolve within. Every moment we're in evolution, and I just get right off the bat here. I'm starting to teach, starting to offer. Glorious day for brand new Year's. We don't really want to call them resolution. Hello, Scotchy Boy. Happy New Year, Scotchy Boy. How are you, my love? It's going to be very exciting this year. Those of us that have been on the path for quite some time, we're going to notice lightening up. We're going to notice a huge, momentous, kind of as that elastic band is pulled back, we get our trajectory, really catapulting ourselves from all of the work that we've been doing. Those that understand the manifestation process, understand energy and alchemy, all that we've done in many of our, timelines to, kind of release all of the negativity that would just naturally comes up as we're gaining more light, as we're collecting more light within ourselves. It's just a natural evolutionary process. But what they were showing me, which is really cool, which we're going to talk about in a second, but we wanted just to give some quick tips for aligning, remember, because your creational reality is about your intention, your direction, and your focus of your reality. There is going to be some shifts, monumental shifts that we don't necessarily have control over, because it's within God's higher divine design plan of the pulling out of a lot of the very staunch energies, those of us that are conduits and creators within the creator matrix, if you will. There's a creator matrix within God's divine plan. Those of us that are working with the 12th dimensional creators and creational reality, alchemists, if you will, we understand things at a multiverse experience, and we help source creator create templates of energy as we pierce in old dense energies. Anything that's left in that dense energy experience gets pulled out and then siphoned back to source. It's always a return back to source, of course, the purifier and the igniter of all light. It just goes back into a new cycle of light. So whatever is old it is pulling out will return back to source and be pulled back in, and then source distributes it in the multitude of heavenly programs that source is. So it's not really up to us to know that. We could not even imagine to begin the alchemic experience of the multiverse ascension. But there will be shifts that are coming up that we don't have any control over, because it's God's divine plan to the very lowest templates will be again renewed back into source. If it's having trouble to be heightened in itself, then they'll be renewed into the lower programs to go back into a whole of source. There's things that I'm kind of sensing, but I'm not going to intuitively bring it forward until the councils kind of say it's okay. There's things that I'm sensing, which is even profoundly, I didn't even consider what I've kind of been sensing into, because it's just on a magnitude that I just don't understand, because as we've been brought up to believe who we are as just humans, if you will, now we're starting to understand ourselves as cosmic multiverse humans, multiverse cosmic experiences. We're going to see what occurs in our unfolding as far as wars and separation, dogmatic wars, any of those things that are highly dense, fear-based and domination-based experiences. We're going to see them as very barbaric. In the one side of the spectrum, the infinity cycle. The inner is that neutral experience, and then the positive, how we're going to create it for healed experiences, building the bridge. Those experiences are, how can we perpetuate, because we are source being source returning to source. We are the ones that now have to transmute those older dense programs into newer programs of light. And in that, we become our own creator gods. So in the systems that will be falling away, breaking away, because again, those systems that are built on corrupt density of fear and control, those are all being pulled out. There are actually threads that are linked to the matrix that are being pulled out due to galactic, celestial, cosmic contracts of the Most High that have been given timelines. We've all been talking about very loose, if you will, timeline structures of the controlled dominating programs to be pulled out, and they have been at a galactic cosmic level agreed as of last night to pull certain programs out. So that's up to God and the systems of light and the galactic federations and all of the beings that are around our planet working on the evolutionary higher divine plan with spirit God and the many heavens. So we are now, as of right now, in the new gardens. We are now in new earth energy. We are now in the templates that are being still that residual cleansing, and why we see things like they told me that will occur, topography shifts, as we saw Japan, just like within the last 24 hours. And if you watch some of those videos, the birds were even interacting, super cosmically, like they do when those big shifts occur. So topography changes will be a part of this shift. So it's up to everybody every day if you choose to be on that new earth template. And again, because of what I've been shown and what I've been sensing, don't lock yourself into thinking, which I've done, absolutely, because I never thought there was, of course, there's infinite options of what God can create. But what I'm sensing more and more now, it's far beyond what we even thought we could conceive. Because of how things have gone over the last 10 years, there's things more profound and more dynamically creative that we don't even have words for. I'm sensing kind of, but because it's so brand, it's like they just peeled back a layer and then put it right back, just so that I could see the potential. All I need is a vibe for me as a conduit, as a creator. God knows when to show me and how much to show me for certain reasons. And this is why I love soul blueprints, because you don't want to be shown more than you can A, have the capacity to understand at the present point, B, because there's still so much that is being played out that we don't obviously have control because it's the right use of free will, and C, you don't want to get yourself off on a tangent, spending more intention, time, and direction on things that aren't needed right now. So that's why your teams and your higher self and your soul, when you are in the highest self soul alignment, you'll get those peaks exactly when you need it, how you need it, and what way you need it, because you don't want to, again, be overwhelmed by things that you don't want to take up space with. Because as we're moving forward in higher acceleration, you have to be ever more present about what your energy is being spent on. So that's why we said our couple of tips on our Facebook, our YouTube page, really good tips for 2024 on how to maintain and keep your energy high as you can, because often the spiral of now is in training lower vibrational thought patterns and behaviors and habits, if you will, retraining them into the new, as you're aligning with the new sense of self. You're designing your new sense of self. You're loving your new sense of self through the compassionate and loving equation, which is love, compassion, and forgiveness. Those energies of the now constantly allow you to evolve. As you're doing the love equation program of your neutrality, accepting all as needed, all as purposeful, all as God, you're then getting to intend and direct your new reality. However, because we're accelerating, just know we are in a time of receiving all of the years that we've been intending and directing. We were so heavy in that manifestation intention experience. Now, for the next 6 months, it's just a matter of maintaining really healthy vibratory maintenance so that you can be more open in receiving. Receiving is, if you think about an energetic cell, because we are all cells, we are micro macro of God. We are the cell of God. As our cells are being activated and inspired and bathed by light, just as we can bathe and inspire light cells within our body, we can focus on a molecule or a cell, and we can bathe it with light by the focusing of it, intending on it, directing our energy on that cell. That's how we heal. Coding new genetic codes of whatever we want. If it's a disease or an illness or a pattern or addiction, whatever, we can recode that, right? By our intention, our direction, our focus. So because we are the cells and the micro macro of God, all that we are as the wholeness of God, because we are whole, we've always been whole. We are now becoming more wholeness, which is really important to keep in your vibration. You are whole within the whole, which means that you're going to create a new higher momentum of light. Everything is light. Light has, I wish I could speak as fast as the downloads are coming, but they're in the field, so you can unpack it later. Light is a capacity of intelligence. Light is a download of a packet. So right now I'm getting downloaded a whole bunch of information, like books and shelves on a library, about the capacity of light. One packet of capacity of light is like you understanding an entire topic in college. That's a download and a packet of light. When you are carrying the vibration of being whole within the whole, that wholeness integration, which means that yes, I've integrated and accepted and acknowledged that I am whole with God. Everything outside of you is an aspect of God. Everything within you is an aspect of God. Therefore, thus, then it must be equally true that your emanation and pulsation and attraction is the wholeness of the equal equation of essence of light. The essence of light is a thing. It is a vibrational song. So many people that I've been perceiving or observing, if you will, in the collective, there's a very staunch difference because of many things. It's their soul blueprints. We're talking about soul blueprints in general, why we're seeing the shifts that we are. The soul blueprints are showing us the connection of essence and the disconnection of essence. The connection of essence is always there. You have that, but it's up to you to intend, direct, and focus. That is the biggest equation, if you will, about what is that equation of essence that you're entangling, participating, and being intimate with. That is connection. You cannot have connection if you're not intimate. And again, vice versa, you cannot be intimate if there's no connection. So there's nothing there if there's no connection. That's why people see the void. That's why people experience the void in their spiritual experience. That's why, and I'm talking in the Christ code. There's so much going in my speech that is a coded experience. So just know that. If you want to unpack what I'm saying in different ways that's meant for you in your divine soul blueprint, then that will be after you do your own work if you so choose. Because there's so much more going on what I'm saying. For instance, for example, we will see the disconnect of the essence of God, of spirit, of source, of love, of the wholeness. Wholeness is the essence of God. So when I say essence, it's wholeness. Wholeness with the air, wholeness with the breath, wholeness with the ocean, wholeness with the sand. It's wholeness. Your connection and intimacy with all that God is. There will be that which will be seen that is disconnected from the wholeness because there's no connection whatsoever, because they've been so disconnected from their inner state of who they are, the pillar of light, their God essence, their chakras, their fields, who they are as spirit. They've been absolutely disconnected because it's been in their teaching, their belief systems, and their perspectives of the separation of spirit of God, of all that is. If you don't know that you are connected with the Pleiades, you're going to have that disconnect. There will be no intimacy of the breath with the Pleiades. Your wholeness of the Pleiades is taken out of the equation. How can it be whole if you're not including Pleiades? It's the same with the Palestinians or the Jews or the Russians or Ukrainians. It doesn't matter. That's wholeness. We are whole with all of those beings. We are whole with the experiences of the war and the earthquake. That's wholeness. There is an essence of equation. What we will see over the next 3 months very acutely is spirit pulling that which is the disconnect, that not that they won't have an opportunity to feel that wholeness and have that connection, but if there is such a staunch darkness of disconnect, that wholeness factor is just not there and everything is shut down in the multidimensional systems, that's up to that higher self, soul's experience and source to determine how that soul will exit to be replaced back into source. Because we are a higher evolving wholeness experience through the multiverse. So if there are aspects in this is us in the middle right here, there's a higher vibrating universe, we're the middle, and this is a lower vibrating universe. And they're all infinite within each other, the infinity. So the lower and the neutral, so they're always, this is the triad of the multiverses. So there's always that play and interplay on how are we going to work. We're always harmonizing the lower, coming into higher evolutionary belief systems, incorporating more wholeness. This is important for why I'm saying what I'm saying. Not only will we see it, because remember, micro, macro, as within, so without, as above, so without, below. Your wholeness factor with you is going to be seen in the outer. So the churches, the preachers, the leaders, all of those things we call words. Thank you, Holy Spirit. You're going to see lots of spirits and fairies and elementals around my aura and stuff, because every time I go through an activation, they want to come out and play more. So I always call in the spirits. And in the last video that I did, if you expand the screen around the aura of my head, you'll see all the spirits and the rods and the energies that play around my head. If you wanted to, you don't have to look at my face. Just look at the outer part of my aura, and you'll see the lights and the fairies playing, because they always want to be a part of these interactions. And so what you're going to see over the next little while is those aspects of spirit essence, the aspects that have chosen to close themselves off to the essence of God, who they are as whole. And again, because we're accelerating in a vibrational plane, if you will, everybody's on a different level of consciousness. Consciousness is everything. The more open and allowing you are to light, open and allowance means your ability to integrate greater light, your capacity of light, your capacity of wholeness. If, again, when you're working on those beliefs to pull up what is ready to be pulled up and involved and integrated into a new level of wholeness, you're going to have to bring up the most darkest levels of separation. You know, what held you in separation? What held you in discrimination? When we are in separation, we're in discrimination of what we are not, but we're whole. So that's why wholeness is going to be the more whole that you feel within your body in every moment, whether it's trying to kick an addiction, trying to, create a higher vibrational thought pattern, create a wholeness with it. I accept this just as being a part of my life story, but now I want to choose this. The more that we judge it and discriminate it, we place resistance on it, and it will become more of our story. Because it's just a magnetic equation. We will see, everybody will see, especially if you've been on the path for a while, there will be nothing more profound, as we said last year, as the correlation that you're going to see that everything is a vibrational equation. If you put resistance on it, it's going to come back and bounce you in the face. If you're forcing and dominating in the fear-based control, it's going to bounce you in the face. Why? Because those lower programs have been pulled out. And the oscillation of the equation now is at a higher vibration of wholeness. So whatever is not in a wholeness vibration, it's a very high vibration. Unity is a very high vibration. That means that you can live in peace and oneness and diversity within the diversity. Therefore, there's no resistance of that. Do you see what I'm saying? The more resistance is going to bounce back really quick. That's why, again, spell work, intention work on the interference of others. Interference is a vibration of discrimination, because you're separating yourself from what you want, because it's a wound within you that you have not accepted and pulled in and loved as yourself. That's why light workers like us, when we carry a very high vibration of knowingness and the acceptance of wholeness, we carry that absolute, that purity, that clarity, and it bounces back a purification of refinement. I know who I am. That impulse of emanation is an equation of energy. That energy will return back to it what it's meant to. That's why God places us before certain people, so that we can break up the density that's mass in fear or control, because we offer a vibration of wholeness and fluidity and openness. So again, you're going to see the correlation in the next coming year of your equation of wholeness. So that's going to be really important that you practice the equation of wholeness. The equation of wholeness is, again, your love equation, which is the forgiveness, compassion, and self-love. So when you're thinking about everything in your vibrational experience as a vibrational equation, it's going to be very common sense that whatever is coming before you is your own equation, playing with the universe. And then what we said earlier is that it will be very obvious. It's going to be really, really obvious, those that have been disconnected from their wholeness, because it's going to show in the reality of their behaviors. Again, see beyond the behavior, give them love and compassion, because it's still a part of your wholeness. What can you further integrate as a part of your experience? And then bring that equation level up higher. So as you're equating yourself in wholeness of every moment, regardless of what you see, it's still a part for you to integrate. Just accept and love, and then create that higher creational reality experience for yourself. So the equations of wholeness will be very important for this coming year. That which is out of the equation of wholeness, which is always the equation of wholeness, because wholeness is wholeness. But you're going to see that which is in opposition of wholeness, that which wants to fight against resistance, discriminate, separate. But even those, because there's such a high capacity of love and light, those even staunch experiences will be called in just to simply want to be loved, because there's a more magnetic pull to be in love. Because it's wholeness. Remember, the more whole you are, the more magnetized you are. You're going to that's why they always say, the more whole you are, rich in spirit, the more you create abundance. Because it's just a magnetic pull. It's just like instead of becoming the size of Mars, you're going to become the size of Jupiter. It's all a magnetic equation within the multiverse co-creational experience. So just know that your wholeness equation just will automatically magnetize greater abundance, greater fortuitousness, if you will, because that's just your core vibration of emanation. And so what they told me, which was really cool. And so we're going to see that, which are like political leaders, dogmatic leaders, whatever we want to call it, because our systems are changing so quickly. And you're going to see that our language will change, because we're not using the language of 3D systems anymore. We're using higher vibrational language, and a lot of what we're going to be saying, offering, and teaching will be cosmically, planetarily integrative. They're showing me right now, I'm speaking a higher vibrational integration of my cosmic multiverse DNA. And so that's super, super cool. I'm going to have a class that I'm going to add in January just on soul blueprints. If you want to know more about your soul blueprint, because that class, whoever signs up for that class, you'll get those equations, those codes, those activations directly for you that are meant for you in your soul blueprint. I'm going to be calling on and channeling the beings that are directly for those that are in that class. Because when I'm in a class, I specifically channel for those beings in the class. And then I'll bring forward like collective energy, stories, the themes that are going on in the collective, because the people that are usually with me in my classes are teachers, healers, and leaders. But if you want to get more excited about your own soul's blueprint, how to integrate and how to direct your soul's capacity of wholeness on this new earth template, because you are a soul, you've always been a soul, but the more you're going to be integrating those whole factors of you, and it does feel very big. When you start living as a soul-based version of yourself, it's a lot different than working as the separative human experience, where that template of, I can feel it right now as I'm tapping into Gaia, our collective. The energy of our collective right now, thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So just watch the spirits. They're coming in to say hi to each and every one of you. They're showing me that they present themselves to say hi to you. They're also interacting with your field, so they're showing me that. Go back to the collective. Okay, so the collective, there's going to be more and more of a sensation and a feeling that the collective omnipresent, the essence of God, which I said earlier, that is acting more whole, behaving more whole, because we're having more and more compassion for whatever is held in separation, i.e. the wars, the things that are going very negatively, and how those equations have been equated in. Everything that you see in the outer reality is the manifestation physically of the equations of science of God. Everything begins as spirit and energy first. So what has the energy been created in? You look at a war, what is the equation of a war? Any human issue on our planet, and this is why my teachings are so valuable and they're only taught by me. When you look at any story that has unfolded, there is a core vibration in that story equation. There is an equation in that story. And so to get to the piercing of that equation, that is how it is resolved. It cannot be resolved from inside the equation. You need to see it from that perspective of the higher self experience, so that you can start weaving in that healing energy. You start weaving in the God essence, because that God essence was held in discrimination and separation. So therefore, the equation of the war is separation and discrimination. And so was it needed? No. Was it unnecessary? Absolutely. Were people killed and injured? Thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of people, unnecessarily, through the arrogance and the ego of misguided leaders that don't care about sacred alignment. So we are going to be seeing absolutely those leaders that are integrous and wanting their people, their sacred land to be uplifted, encouraged, and empowered to align with their higher aspects of spirit, so that all can be integrated into wholeness. If it was a smart leader, that leader would be offering, again, like I said, light workers and healers and teachers like myself that are divinely, universally aligned, so they can start reworking and manifesting in a higher vibrational integration. They're not integrating. And the more that they do not integrate or choose not to integrate, that's the resistance. And that resistance will only bounce it back even faster and harder, meaning more towers, more negativity, more darkness, more damage, more destruction, more war equation. Because resistance is a war equation. War is the absence and the resistance to peace and unity. It's all an equation. So from here on out, look at everything as an equation. If you are in your everyday moving about your reality of human experience, and you're going about and all of a sudden you feel an energy approach you, or you have a family member, because it's all family time right now, somebody drops by for a coffee or a tea, and all of a sudden you have that resistance with that person because there's something in that equation between your energy fields that needs to be integrated, or it's giving your body an opportunity to say, no, that energy doesn't feel good, so I'm going to put up a veil of self-love and self-honor and self-acceptance so that your fields and your bodies are protected. We're going to start using words differently. Instead of saying, you're going to veil yourself in protection against somebody. No, because they're still you, they're still whole. That just empowers you a bit more in your integration of God. You don't have to protect yourself against anybody. You want to walk with your wholeness of who you are. So just say, I'm just going to put a veil of loving, honor, and compassion on myself. And therefore, you're going to still have that integrational equation, if you will. So it's all, again, you're working with the fine-tunement of physics, because that's God. God is the love of all creation. But God wants you to create from a higher level of acceptance now. Have you accepted yourself as godly? Take a deep breath. Feel yourself ground into the earth. You want to feel yourself grounding in the oneness with Gaia, grounding in the oneness of the grids, grounding in the oneness of the 5D templates. Take a deep breath. Breathe in white light, breathe in white light, breathe in white light, breathe in white light. Feel yourself being bathed with the purity of the universal light. Feel yourself bathed with the purity of the universal light. Call in all your soul fragments. Know that you're whole, know that you're accepted, know that you're becoming more and more integrated, because you are. Just, you are not being taught this in the outer world. You're not being taught this in school. You're not being taught this in your social experience. You're not being taught this in the families. You're not being taught this in your work environment. You are becoming more and more integrated as light. Anything that you work with in every moment of every day, if there is a resistance, then you're not opening your wholeness 100% in the openness that is God. So I'm telling you, because I said earlier, when you are open, you are more whole and you will receive. So when you're open and allowing, with reducing as much fear, healing as much fear, and you're becoming more acceptance and love, it's all the same. Remember, it's just from the belief from where you sit as that molecular cell. When that cell has been wounded and damaged, it has to heal itself back into an entrained, open, allowing cell of God. It's the wholeness of God, wholeness of source, wholeness of all that the breath is, that spirit is. There's nothing to fear. It's all you. It's just a version of you from whatever perspective that you needed to say there's still some I need to integrate. Does that make sense? Anything in any moment where you feel, tune in within yourself. Is this resistance? Is this fear? So get to the refinement and call what you're feeling. Call it. I'm feeling fear. I'm triggered. What does that trigger mean though? Because a trigger can be anything. A trigger can be a happy trigger. A trigger can be an excited trigger. A trigger could be a frustrated trigger. Because your energy field, because I'm asking you this because it's going to serve you. You are, in this next coming year, are going to open to more refinement of your psychic gifts, because we're becoming more God. God is the ultimate psychic, masterful magician. God knows creation because God is creation. So God's the alchemist of magicianship. It's the science of magicianship. That's God, because God loves to create. God loves to explore, express, and experience itself. We are micro, macro of that. Explore, excitement, expression of who we are as source. That's our birthright. That's our destiny. But we're now doing it from a higher template. So feel into and give yourself those acknowledgments. Yes, I'm feeling frustration. I'm feeling anger. I'm feeling impatient. Whatever that trigger is, that is the resistance. And then own it and incorporate it, integrate it. Integrating is the enmeshment. That's what integration means, is enmeshment, intimacy. I'm okay with being intimate with frustration. I get that. I get that vibration. Been there, done that log quite a bit. I'm okay with that. I can own it. And that's the problem that we've had with most of our 3D leaderships, because they put themselves in such an egoic status, elitist status. All that has been discriminated is because of elitist statism. And it goes way back thousands and thousands of years, back to the Adam Eve project. And that's just been ingrained as a thing that we're all transmuting. Every single person on the planet. We've done so much transmuting just from me as a conduit feeling into the collective, because again, there's bigger things happening than we know. And it'll unfold when it's meant to unfold. Because we're in these new templates now, the vibration that I'm feeling into the Adam Eve project is so profoundly changed. Because a lot of men are seeing and facing very daily, on a daily basis, wow, there's shit I gotta deal with. Divine masculines have to heal. You can no longer walk about in the ego arrogance of elitism being your only driver. It's not going to get you through ascension. You have to integrate your soul fragments. You have to integrate your egoism. You have to integrate your misogyny. You have to integrate why you label and you play people and you play mind games and spiritual games and warfare games and destructive games of separation and discrimination. It has to be healed. And that's where the Adam Eve project was. It was placing blame and discrimination on someone that was outside of you, but was just your other aspect of you, showing you that you can integrate this and be in loving oneness and harmony. The ultimate goal is harmony on all aspects of your integration of source, your allness. So there's always going to be aspects of the all that will be facing and showing you. Be okay to accept it. Okay, what am I feeling right now? Is there a resistance? Release all resistance, accept it in. Release all resistance. It's existing because you're showing it to yourselves. Okay, I accept this. Now, does it serve me to continue behaving in this way, or can I behave in a more accepting, loving way? Can I behave in a way that I show it as existing, and I'm going to navigate this way now? Because remember, part of this upcoming year is going to also be, because it's an equation, we're moving into a higher equated reality. I'm showing you how to see. As a seer, as a psychic, as an intuitive, you're going to be sensing, feeling, and knowing yourself in a higher vibrational creational reality. Your gifts are going to be turning on, showing you, allowing you to sense, feel, know in every way. Your gifts that you are sensing, you're feeling, and you're knowing are everything. Your story is who you are. So don't allow anything outside of you to tell you what your story is. No, this is my story. I know how I feel. I know I'm right because these are my gifts. They can see it from their perspective, but your words is your story of spirit. And nobody has their right to your words, your experience of spirit. It's your experience. So own it, integrate it. If you're feeling triggered, integrate it. It's an equation of your reality. As you integrate it, you're becoming more whole. And what happens when you become more whole? Wholeness is the allowance of source. What happens when you're allowing source? Take a deep breath. I'm allowing source, I'm allowing source, I'm allowing source. Ground, 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 ground. You're grounding in a bigger essence of source. Gaia feels your higher equation of wholeness. When Gaia feels her wholeness, your wholeness, it's an equation of plus equals more plus. Because Gaia always accepts you. The grids always accept you. You've held yourself in separation of Gaia. You've held yourself in separation of the grids because nobody's taught you these things. So now I'm teaching you these things. Your wholeness integration is everything in 2024. Why? Put your comments below on why this is so important. We'll see if any of you are tuned in to the last 24 hours on many different levels. Why is it so important? Why do you think it's going to be so important? Dun, dun, dun. 2024. What does that equal? 8. What is 8? Manifestation. What is manifestation? The infinity. What is the infinity? It's wholeness. Can you be the wholeness equation? Can you know that everything is just everything? In any moment, did you wake up and you wake up feeling like you're going to clear and purge something that was triggered in you while you were sleeping, a bad dream or a fear or a nightmare? Whatever was triggered in you, can you get up and you can just say, I'm going to integrate everything that was. I'm going to integrate whatever is bothering me in those triggers, and I'm going to journal it out. These are my triggers. I felt frustrated. I felt sad. I felt abandoned. I felt like I was released or rejected, whatever that is. I'm going to integrate it, but now I get to choose to be my wholeness in a different way. So don't discriminate and separate. It's not gone or apart from you anymore. No, it's just a story you're integrating. I'm going to say something that's going to blow your mind. And it's okay if you get it. It's okay if you don't. Don't judge yourself if you don't get what I'm going to say. Death is not really death. Death is a version of your integration, and you're passing it and you're moving on to a new version of you. When I say integration, and are you acknowledging it? Are you integrating it? Are you being more of a wholeness? If you're still in resistance, you're holding it separate from yourself because there's a deeper wound. So you need to go deeper and really get to that integration because you want to accept it all. As you're accepting it all, this will blow your mind, but it's just creational reality. You'll get over it. As you accept it into its 100% of wholeness, it will no longer be there for you to continue facing you if it is something that you call and deem a negative. Again, you don't have to deem anything as a negative. If you're integrating wholeness of God, everything is always a positive. It holds value. That creational reality will show you more and more the essence of how powerful you are as God. It's mind-boggling. Why are we feeling this? Because again, at the very first 5 minutes of our episode today, there's going to be a lot of those fear domination programs from the matrix that are being absolutely pulled out because they had contracts to be pulled out. They will no longer seek to intimidate and dominate the human energy. So what does that do? It leaves up a whole energy vibration of a lighter essence within the collective for us simply just to integrate wholeness. Because there's no more resistance of those energies that want us to keep infighting. There's no more of those programs that want us to keep fighting against each other or to create viruses for us to feel fear against our bodies and our ability to heal ourselves, or those programs and those imprints, the equations that are sent out into the collective for us to judge one another or be against one another, which is exactly what the Ukraine war was. It wasn't about the war of the political parties. It was about arms race. And that's where you're going to see those threaded stories that will be showing you where is the essence of integration. Are those leaders of integration and unity and peace and wholeness? Or is it all working from a level of separation and resistance? Obviously, war is resistance. It's the resistance of all that they're trying to integrate and to win-win. They're refusing to win-win, which is resistance. They're resisting who they are as a whole. Anytime a missile and a bomb is sent, whoever is doing that judgment, they're getting equally judged times 10, because they're meant to be responsible for people and health and the leadership of the country in unity and peace. That's God's blessing. When you're in charge and you're going to be the leader and the inspirator of many people in sacred land, your role is to inspire as highest vibrational experiences win-win, because it's going to be integrating. No, we are one. We're not going to leave this experience until we integrate all that has been our differences and our triggers and our resistances. That's great leadership. As Commander Ashtar offered to me, a great leader is inclusive. If there is leaders that are not inclusive, they're not a leader. So these are things that we're going to be looking for. And also, too, bounce it right back to, because that's our creational reality. Are you being the great leader of you? Are you being as inclusive as possible? And it's okay to navigate through preference, right? As we said earlier in one of our videos, about 4 or 5, 6 videos back, you're allowing the source to be more integrative if you're preferring something as opposed to judging it. Because remember, judging, you're still separating. Judging, you're still resisting. You're saying, no, that's not me. I'm not going to know. Whereas you can just say, no, I prefer to go this way. I prefer to do this for myself. This is a preference for me because it's aligned with my excitement. Preference and excitement will be aligned. And that's what they were showing me earlier. 2024 will be more about your following your excitements, living in your excitements, because it's a preference. Yeah. Most people, 98% of people, prefer to be loving and peaceful people. Why anything negative and dramatic and drastic ever occurs is because there is deep wounding that they've chosen that action to play out of a deep, deep resistance, of a discrimination. But it's always within themselves. That's why those that choose to be those purveyors of choice to bomb and harm 10,000 children or kill 10,000 children, they have the karma of those children that they chose to kill. No different than rape, no different than sexual molestation, no different than trafficking. Anybody that chooses to do that carries the collective karma. Make no mistake about that. And that's why we've said for years now, those that practice in the entertainment business, in the political business, in the leadership business, any people, gang, group, sect, secret masonry group, secret anything, doesn't matter, because everything is energy. Anyone that practices sacrificing or spell work doesn't know what they're doing. They don't understand creational reality, and they don't understand that they are carrying that equal karma, that it will always self-implode. They don't get what they're doing. On a higher vibrational template, they don't get it. And that's why there is going to be all of those things come down. It has to. It's an equation. You can't get around science. It's an equation. And make no mistake about it, it's God's design of a higher vibrational template, and God will add in whatever God essence, because again, God essence is infinite, and whatever God needs for something to occur will occur. Because that's the story of God that will show my story, for instance. My story will be one of the stories that will heal the Adam Eve project. That's why people like me have come forward as a multiverse being. Because the Adam Eve project is not only something that was sent in as a catalyst for healing and change, not only on this universe, on this planet, but many others. So my story is very pivotal for the multiverse evolution. Those that were involved in my story that played that discriminatory part of that equation, they can do immense healing for the multiverse by going in and accepting their roles and making it right. If they choose, they don't have to choose that. So far, they haven't. I haven't been paid 1 penny for my work that was stolen or my videos that are being pilfered off YouTube. And they're getting the karma for that. So Spirit is showing, if you want to be a positive player in your story now of the multiverse, healing of the Adam Eve project, if you want to be a healing part of the equation, how will you do that? How will you accept it and integrate it? It's not just by doing an action. You actually have to sit and integrate. Why did I hold that in such separation? Why did I hold a misogynistic perspective about somebody being free and liberated in their speaking of God and all that is God? Why can't anybody have their experience and expression of God? Why is it only the churches can have an expression of God? Well, no, when we get to 5D, we're just going to have buildings we want to go and pray in and meet in. We don't have to call anything because all is all. We're integrating it, right? So why do we have religious wars? Why do we have these leaders of religions and sects and cults having those fears of losing control and losing their patronage and losing money? They won't. They would absolutely gain money and gain patronage if they included, because it's a scientific equation. As you're including and allowing and opening, you're gaining more God essence. It's an equation. But because of where people sit in their wounding and their separation of themselves, they're going to go down kicking and screaming because they want what they want. They can only see it from their perspective. Their religion is their religion. It doesn't integrate with any other religion. They don't integrate with people outside their religion. It's so separative and so judgmental and discriminatory. Therefore, it will go down. It will be damaged in every way. It will break and falter. There's no integration. There's zero integration. So what can a non-integrative experience or business, it doesn't matter whether we're talking about a medical procedure, it doesn't matter whether we're talking about a social church, whether we're talking about a school, whether we're talking about a political leader. If it is non-integrative, it will bust and fall and break because there's nothing for it to sit on. Its vibration in its environment is pure light of integration, of oneness, of wholeness. If the collective people are living and acting in collective oneness and wholeness, the systems of old breaking stuff will just not be there, as we said earlier. Remember, death is not really death. If there is a resistance in your energy, it will show itself before you. As you integrate it, you become whole. It's no longer there because it's you. You've allowed yourself to be okay. I'm okay with that shadow. I want to be this now. Your love and acceptance is far more grand because you're becoming godly with it. It must be there for a reason because you haven't integrated that aspect of wholeness. Does that make sense? So it doesn't have to show itself outside of you anymore. What is going on our planet is outside of us is because there's a lot of separative experiences and judgments experiences. There's going to be a whole other video that I'm going to offer about gender, the gender equation in the underground. The gender equation in the underground is stemmed from a lot of the divine masculine not being healed. And the gender explorations over the last generation has been to be that catalyst for the divine masculines to heal. Divine masculines and divine feminines, and this is profound, write it out and go observe and reflect upon it because these are deep healing, profound healing, expansive tips that I'm giving you. In your own unique soul's expression, when you look at the past, present, and the future on who you are as a person, as a soul, as an aspect of God. When you sit and think of yourself in the body that you're in is the body that you're in. It's the encasing that you are, but you are equally masculine and divine feminine. Equally. If you hold a divine feminine body, a divine masculine body, you are equally divine feminine and masculine. When we get to 5D, we will be androgynous. What has been the staunch and misguided and discriminatory and separative beliefs within the collective, which is called the Adam Eve Blueprint Project? How have we offered ourselves to be here on this planet? The codes, the imprints, and the stories that we've chosen to take on energetically through our lineage, through our collective, so that we can become cosmically prepared for the ultimate first contact of all nations in our cosmos. Because if we don't accept ourselves as divine masculine and feminine, how are we ever going to accept an insectoid? How are we ever going to accept a Pleiadian? How are we ever going to accept Arcturians? How are we ever going to accept Andromedans? Acceptance and allowance and integration of wholeness is the highest level of intelligence, period. Because there's nothing you're resisting. There's nothing you're triggering to say, no, that's not me. There's nothing that you're discriminating on. No, I want everything to be, I want that intelligence of everything. I want the wholeness of it. That's God. That's being godly. You're not saying one church is better than another. No, it's all godly. How are the beliefs within the church walls? Is there integration within the church walls? Church walls, body. We've been so misguided with our whole dogmatic experiences, become so discriminatory. We've placed men, the Father, if you will, and we've given so much power to the Father that they're so imbalanced and they need healing. Point blank, period, that's what it is. The man, the male, the divine masculine, doesn't matter whether you're a feminine body or a masculine body, because everybody is playing their part in their energies that need to be healed. So it doesn't mean anything when you say, I'm a divine feminine right now, and I'm more and more standing in my divine feminine energies. I've had to be in my masculine because of all the spiritual warfare. So I've had to be a lot in my divine masculine energies, but now I'm softening because now it's time for me to receive. I'm more in my divine feminine energies, and I'm going to be attracting an equal divine masculine. What we're saying now is the healing of the divine masculine for the Adam Eve project. We're moving into a 5D template. The Adam Eve project will be transitioned into a higher vibrational project where it's equal. Divine feminine, divine masculine is equal because that is androgynism. That's 5D. That's meaning that all churches are all God. That's androgyny. If you look at androgyny, androgyny means wholeness. That's what androgyny means. It means wholeness. Integration of wholeness. How different is it of a church, all churches to be whole? How is that? That's what I'm saying. Keep thinking about wholeness, the integration of wholeness. Everything outside of you, can you integrate into wholeness? If you're the head of a church, can you integrate everything into wholeness? If you're the head of a company, can you integrate everything as a wholeness? If you want to be abundant, if you want to be healthy, integrate wholeness. It's the equation of the universe. And that's why people that are falling apart and people that are deathly ill and people that are experiencing towers left, right, and center and continue to still do satanic spell work and satanic interfering with people's lives and satanic sacrificing and all of the things that are being done to show yourself that you're not separate. That's what that is. They want to prove themselves right in being separate. So they will die being separate as an illusion. Because as soon as that second they cross, spirit will be reintegrating them back to source and then they'll be whole again. Do you see what I'm saying? It's a huge illusion, but they have to play that role so that other things and other energies around them can say, no, I'm okay with that. That's your choice of feeling your experience of separateness, but that's not mine. I integrate your experience as being wholeness for me, but they choose to stay in their lane. You're not going to interfere with that. It's their right of free will. If they want to behave in separatism where they go harming and hurting people because they want to force and dominate someone or handle someone, that doesn't have to be your story. You don't have to choose to buy into being handled. I'm not going to be handled. Who the fuck are you? There's a lot going on in the divine masculine where these stories of the darkest of the divine masculine wounds have to be pulled up and faced. And some of those are the divine masculine's beliefs and imprinted in their lineage, in their Akash, in their dogmatic systems, in their political systems, where they're handling people. And I say handling as the word of pimping, because that's what handling is. You're pimping. To be a handler, you're a pimp. Basically, say it as it is. You can't pussyfoot around that word. Handling is pimping. And are we higher intelligent if we're pimping? We're not. So integrate it as an accepted experience of our divine collective of masculine energies. I will not be pimped. I will not be handled. I won't be traded or bid or spell casted or ritualized, or I'm not going to be sacrificed. Why? Because my consciousness is whole and accepted within me. My consciousness is my consciousness. It's my experience. Nobody has touch on my experience. My experience is whole within me and God, period. I own that. I claim that. Every cell, every ounce of my experience. That's why I will not be sacrificed. That's why any spell won't affect me. It will actually do the opposite. It's actually going to honor me because I've included and incorporated an integration code on any spell that's sent to me. So I become more abundant, I become more youthful, I become more beautiful. I become more patient, I become more kind. And nobody sets those codes for my conscious experience. Why? Because it's me experiencing me as God. I have say over my consciousness. Again, the people that do that are fine and well. There's no judgment. They're going to experience a whole lot of destruction and damage that they don't have to. As I said years ago, they're not getting creational reality. They're not getting it. because they're in darkness, separation, and they've closed. Remember we said earlier, open and closed. Are you an open system or a closed system? If you are closed, you're going to experience separation. If you are closed, you're going to experience discrimination and other such words. So be open, integrated. Anything that you're moving through in your daily experience, are you being open and integrating it? You get to choose how much you're going to integrate. Remember, I said earlier, you can prefer to go this way now that you've integrated and accepted it. Yes, you're God, I accept you. Awesome. Thanks so much for being a part of this integration. Because there's something in your allness that needs to be integrated. That's why it's facing you. So as I said earlier, death is not really what it seems. When I say death, it's because there's a lot of fear that people have about death. And I've got goosebumps. So people in the field right now are going to be experiencing a death cycle in something, whether it's your job, your health, your body, what you thought you couldn't detach from, something you thought you couldn't detach from, a habit, an addiction, a person, whatever it might be, a belief, it doesn't matter. Again, they're all words. It doesn't matter. Integrate it. Once you integrate that trigger of being alone or codependent, whatever it might be that is your biggest trigger, integrate it. Once you integrate it, it's going to become less and less in your face. You're not going to have so many profound tower moments where somebody dies unnecessarily. They don't have to. They don't have to. Yeah, and what is fear, though? What is fear? Fear at its core is its separation of itself. So integrate it. Integrate it means you're calling it in. You're fusing. You're saying, yes, we're one. If you're ahead of a church, if you're ahead of a school, integrate it. Say, no, we're going to have integration day. We're going to call it all in. Everything is whole. We want to be unified. We're including everybody. Allow everybody their expression and exploration experience of who they are. That's the integration factor. That's the equation of creational reality. That means that you are so rich in spirit, you've integrated everything that comes forward to you, and you've been so abundant and rich in spirit. Boom, 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 boom. The blessings are tenfold. Why? Because you've integrated it all. I'm a blessing waiting to be had. People see you as a blessing. What happens? Because you're pulsating as the abundant equation, you're magnetizing those pulsations that go out to the universe. Just like that, the universe responds to you. Because you're pulsating, wow, I'm abundant, I'm integrating everything. Wow, look at me. I can integrate anything. So there's fearing nothing. Don't fear. Integrate it. What will be a challenge is those that have chosen to be a part of the war factor, if you will, part of their very profound healing journey, which they may not choose to take because it's huge. Anybody that has a conscience, you're taking on that conscience of killing people so unnecessarily and arrogantly and greedily for arms race, for power. They're illusions. Power is an illusion. If you're killing people to have power, you are the least powerful person. And you will know that when you have to start clearing the conscience and forgiveness of killing people unnecessarily. That's a huge debt to carry. And how many people have been killed in this one war? How many people are killed in trafficking? How many people are killed by drug overdoses that aren't necessary? Because people are putting things in drugs that, and drugging people's foods and drinks and just plain, again, interference with people's lives. So those people that think they're having control, it's an illusion. They have zero control. That's why everything in their reality will break. I guarantee you, I'm calling it now. Everything around people that choose to manipulate and overpower people and play schemes and plots and scams, they will break. They will break. They will create experiences where everything around them will break. People around them will get sick. People around them will die. People around them will break. And they will get to that pain, however God needs. Because remember what I just said. Remember what I just said. It's really important for everybody to get this. This is a mastery tip that nobody's ever talked about before. I'm going to tell you right now. When somebody outside of you, and you see somebody outside of you die, that in the deepest core of you, because when somebody is wounded, I'm giving you a psyche experience. When somebody is wounded so much so that they interfere with another person's path so much so, and that person has been protected by God so much so, it doesn't matter what anybody projects at that person, at that angel, at that earth angel, like myself, that angel will be protected so much so. Unfortunately, what has to occur is that the person that is doing damage to the person that is highly protected, because that person is here to teach the infinite amount of beings on this planet that can heal from what I'm saying right now, that person will have to experience something so much so in its deepest, darkest experience of its soul that wakes it up. And sometimes, oftentimes, it is the death of a loved one that they might have even turned off, that they didn't think they loved. And sometimes, as I've been shown, because Spirit shows me this, I have access to all sides of the realities. I have access to the lower realm, middle realm, and upper realm. When somebody passes, I see them and I speak with them and I know their soul story. If they couldn't, through their own wounding, if they couldn't have done what they were meant to do, apologize, make right, and integrate on my behalf this lifetime, they will come, once they pass over and cross over and do their transition and their healing, they will now become a guide and a guard, if you will, a guard, for all the spiritual warfare. Because I'm meant to be a part of this planetary evolution. Because I'm part of the galactic evolution, I'm part of the multiverse evolution. I'm very important in the multiverse. I know who I am. I know my shit. It's allness, it's God. I integrate it all. But what I'm saying is that very wounded person, whether it is the leader that bombs 10,000 people, whether it's somebody that does black magic trying to get somebody, to break somebody, to erase somebody, to derail somebody, to do a financial scam on somebody, to get somebody not to be godly, to get somebody not to be on their destiny, whatever that fear is their own fear. Remember, it's a mirrored experience. So God will allow whatever needs to allow, but it will be on that person's experience so that they get that conscience. Conscience is the trigger door opening to a higher consciousness. And unfortunately, conscience will allow you to say, wow, did I do that? Because it allows you to finally have that break, the dark night of the soul, which is your conscience, opening into greater consciousness, awareness, openness, integration, allness. Wow, I just heard somebody, it's me. I killed that person, it's me. Do you see what I'm saying? When you forgive and accept, wow, I did that harm to that person, it's you. That's why you know. And I'm saying this right now and I will call it. I'm going to keep calling it. This is my truth, I will call it. I know who I am, I speak universal truth. God is opening my heart to the multiverse. I'm saying it right now. This is why you know. Everybody in power, everybody in power, everybody in power. Make sure you look within every day. What is true power? Before you press any buttons. Arrogantly bombing, arrogantly harming, arrogantly hurting, arrogantly interfering with any person's path outside of the universal laws. Make no mistake about it, you're coming back on karma. Times 10, everybody's going to give enough time. Who are you? Bombing anybody, hurting anybody, harming anybody, killing anybody, scamming anybody, stealing from anybody, harming anybody, it's not necessary. That's not power. It's arrogance. And it's futile, and you will be shown it's you. It's you. And you needed that much darkness and death to return back to you in a mirror to say, oh, that conscience of the oneness, conscience of the allness, conscience of the wholeness is breaking open your heart to say, holy fuck, I gotta forgive myself. What have I been doing? Because it's you. How much of yourself do you have to kill before you open up and say, God, I gotta start loving myself? Because remember, when you get to so much darkness, the only way up is light. And everybody will have their own unique breaking point. Whether it's an addiction, whether it's interfering with somebody's life, whether it's making somebody other life's hell, you're making their life hell because of something deep within you that is unfulfilled and unnourished. And that's usually why codependence gets so ugly. Because they want to control other energies and other beings so much so to feed their own insecurities of no sense of self. And it's no different than a leader that pushes a button and kills hundreds or thousands. It's you're killing because there is such self-degrade, because you've separated yourself as the wholeness of God. You have always been whole. I'm telling you right now, you're whole. So take a deep breath, everybody. We're going to do a healing, and we're going to call in this healing to be the integration of all that we are, because we want people to walk around this planet, walk around their lives, whether it be a business, whether it be a church, whether it be your family. And when you walk around your house, if you can ask yourself to soften every part of your multidimensional experience, your heart, your mind, your body, your spirit, your soul, your sexual essence, divine masculine, divine feminine, we're going to come back to that. So Scotty, can you remind me after I do this meditation alignment, can you just put in the comment fields, divine feminine, divine masculine, Adam Eve project, because we want to come back to the divine masculine healing. It's going to be really important in 2024. So just take a deep breath in and calling in with intention, focus, and direction. You're going to call in the multiverse rainbow light of the Holy Christ. And rainbow light of the Holy Christ doesn't have anything to do with religion. We're actually integrating all aspects of discrimination and separation of any aspects of our own belief systems that we've held about religions. All religions are one, all aspects of who we are. Religions is just a word we gave of a belief system. And it's okay, we want to change our belief systems. It's okay, we can change what we think, we can wear, change what we wear, we can change our bodies. We have absolute control, 100%, and this is a universal truth. You have 100% wholeness and allocation and integration to change your body. When you reach 5D, you will have mind over matter, and you will be able to change your body with the essence integration of you being divine feminine, of you being divine masculine in your wholeness, and you can change your body from thought. Period, point blank. That is a truth. Breathe it in. And as you ground, I am 100% in control of my body. I am integrating all that I am within my body. My body is health. My body is alive. I'm going through a constant state of renewal and death. I'm going through a constant state of integration. I'm going through a constant state of amalgamating. I'm integrating everything that I see. I'm integrating everything that I am as God. There is no fear. I release all fear now. Now, now, now. I have access to my highest health now, now, now. I have access to my highest intelligence now, now, now. My voice is my cellular acculation now, now, now. I can allocate my DNA now, now, now. I am accessing my 100% of who I am now, now, now. Body, mind, heart, spirit, and soul. Call it in. And breathe and breathe and breathe your wholeness. Breathe your wholeness. Breathe your wholeness. Ground, 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 ground. Feel yourself go into the earth, go into the earth, go into the earth. Gaia is now going to feed back to you her vibration of equation, and you're going to harmonize with her. I'm harmonizing with Gaia. I'm integrating Gaia. You're going to feel wholer. Your body will start to feel goosebumps, which means that you're integrating a higher version of your God essence. Say it out loud. I am a God essence. Say it out loud. Have your cells hear you. By version, my cells, my fields, my body, my cells, my muscles. I'm a higher vibratory being than I was 5 minutes ago because my essence of God is whole, whole, whole. Physical, heart, mind, body, soul, I am spirit. I am one. I am integrative. I am one. I am whole. And breathe up from the highest of the heavens, as above, ground, 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 down below, down below. I'm one, I'm one, I'm one, I'm one, as within and so without. I'm one, I'm one, I'm one. And take a deep breath and ground. Feel yourself exhale. Let it out. Call in peace, 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 calm. Place your hand on your heart, activate. Your body is highly, highly God activated. Your body will remember I'm activating you now. There are those listening now. There are those listening now. There are those listening now. As your higher selves are having me as the conduit, as your higher selves are having me as the code breakers, you are a God physical vessel. Your vessel is activating your cells of memory. Your cells carry memory equal to the DNA allocation of who you are as a cosmic being, of who you are as an elemental, as who you are as a fairy, as who you are as a God essence being of all Christ consciousness. Because Christ consciousness is the eternal life of all life. Of all life, of all life. And guess what, dear lighted ones? It's in your body. It's in the essence of your voice. It's in the essence of your breath. Take a deep breath, take a deep breath, take a deep breath, take a deep breath. And know that your fingers carry God essence. It's an activation, dear lighted ones. Your fingers are activating your God essence of who you are as the vibration of God. Your heart is God, dear lighted ones. Your heart is the mechanism of your integration. Your heart says, I am whole. And breathe in. And many of you are feeling goosebumps. Many of you are feeling big and grand. And as you feel big and grand in your energy body, your physical body doesn't need to be big and grand. That's why many of you will lose weight. When you're feeling big in spirit, you will lose weight. Why? Because you're light, and light carries so much more. So the density of the matter itself will decrease. It is an equation of all that is godly, dear lighted ones. We are preparing you to get comfy with your light bodies. There is equations in these things.
As the bigger spirit you are, the denser matter will be lighter. However it needs to, there is always perfection in your form. So know that, have that as an integrative truth. My form is always perfect. Can you say that to yourself daily, hourly? After you eat, before you eat, my form is perfect. I give you this challenge, dear lighted ones. If you want to start accepting yourself wholly, this is all about integration. You're becoming more godly. We can amp you up, dear lighted ones. We're giving you more inspiration. We're giving you more God light. As you integrate more of who you are as God, if you say to yourself before you eat every meal, my form is perfect, the cells within your body will be anticipating perfect essences, perfect nourishment. And if you get yourself into this habit, delighted ones, you will find yourselves feeding your body exactly what it needs, because your body needs something different than the body next to you, and the body next to you, and the body next to that. And you will ultimately, in this moment right now, as we are giving you an activation, if you so choose, to change the essence of your lineage activation and the coding, or your genetic encoding, your genetic sequencing of what you thought you were built with and you had to stay with within your form. No, your form is changeable. Can you say that? My form is perfect, my form is changeable. Can you say it before you eat? My form is perfect, my form is changeable. You're giving your codes, you're giving the essences of communication that is God, within all your cells, within your muscles, within your organs, within all that you are is God. Remember, dear lighted ones, we say this to you as an integrative statement of truth. Your voice is the Spirit of God, is it not? How could it not be? If you are the vessel of God, so too is your voice. Your chakras hold divine God voice, God spirit, God truth. Joanna is speaking in her sacred tongue, which means thus then, dear lighted ones, because she has known, she has coded her body. The cells, the muscles, the bones, all that she is blood, spirit, and mind, and body, and soul is all in God. As your spirit speaks, so too it is. These are the lessons of mastery, dear lighted ones. Now breathe in. My body is always perfect. My body is always whole. Oh, ground, ground, ground. My form is always perfect. My form is changeable. Ground, ground, ground. My form is always perfect. My form is changeable. Ground, ground, ground. Give yourself permission. My form is always perfect. My form is always changeable. You want to be malleable, dear lighted ones. You want to be moving like light. Light is bendable. Light is expansive. Light is so intelligent. Your cells are intelligent. Can you say that to yourself 100 times a day? My cells are God intelligent. My cells are God intelligent. My breath is God intelligent. My bones are God intelligent. My organs are God intelligent. My muscles are God intelligent. Your vibration, your vibration, your vibration. Yod he, vod he, yod he, vod he, yod he, vod he. Changed now than you were 5 minutes ago. Take a deep breath. Ground, 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 ground. Do you feel like you're a higher vibration, dear lighted ones? Yes or no? If you say yes very quickly, you're tapped in, tuned in. And if you say yes or no very slowly, you're not giving yourself permission to own your own intuitive knowing, because you know you are. I'm going to ask that one more time. Are you a higher vibration, yes or no? Be certain who you are. Be certain what you feel. Be certain that you're tapped in, turned on. You know your God essence. You know your God body. Yes, my body right now feels vibratory turned on. I know who I am. Get used to being okay with saying what you know. Yes, I know that I am. My body is changeable. My body is perfect. And even though there might be a subconscious pattern that you've been entrained with to be imperfect, to be less than, to be graded, to be judged, to be competing with others, they're all fallacies, they're all illusions. So you have to retrain yourself to the highest vibration. No, I'm perfect. I don't compete with anybody. I love myself. My body's changeable. I get to change it whenever I want. There I go. It's changed. Why? Because I've said, my voice is the Spirit of God. My voice is the Spirit of God. I can change myself now. Nobody has conscious control over me but me. Reclaim that power, dear lighted ones. Your voice activates your cells. Your voice activates the cellular mitosis, reproduction, health, or degeneration. It's up to you, dear lighted ones. That's how much Source loves you. You'll want to play here and there and here and there and here and there. Negative, positive, in between. You get that choice. You're a master. That's why what's the big deal? Integrate it. There's no judgment. There's no competition. There's no race. There never has been. It's your beliefs that you stay stuck within as if you're not enough. Start being enough. I'm perfect. My form is changeable. I love myself. I'm going to be amazing right now because I am. I don't have to press myself. I don't have to race. I don't have to push. I'm not competing. Take yourself out of all competition. You're perfect. Who are you competing with? Who are you against? What is the resistance? There ain't nothing there, delighted ones. It's a belief. So get to the core of that belief, own it, accept it, integrate it. All right, now I'm just being me. Is that not enough for you? It's okay if it's not enough for you. Then bye. It's okay for me. God is okay for me right now. I'm okay in every moment being God. I'm integrating. It's all God. I want to integrate everything. I'm God. My voice is my spirit to all that is. My voice sends new out to creation and new will come back. That's my voice. My voice is integrated with source. That is my word. My word, my consciousness, my experience. I set that. I vibrate that. That's me. Who are you? Who are you? Set that intention, delighted ones. Your voice is spirit. Now, remember too, you set the intention to harm or project any pain to another. Absolutely. What are you doing? We said that earlier. What are you doing? You're doing it to you. Whether it's pushing a button, or interfering, or spell work, or sacrifices, they're all illusions, delighted ones. And you're doing it to a part of you. So we ask that you love yourself instead. Because it will always return. It always does. Why? Because it's only you. You are manifesting everybody before you to show you, are you integrated or not? And every new level of ascension, you will be asking yourself of new integrations, of new breaking boundaries, of what you thought you were and what you thought you existed within, and what dearly, delighted ones, has always been within you. So supple and so sweet. For that is God. God allows there to be infinite religions if you so choose. And as you raise in higher consciousness, as you raise in higher acceptance, as you raise in integration of all being one, you're just showing yourself varies of level of integration that you had to step up. You couldn't take all religions on as one integration right out of the bat. You wanted to think about it. You wanted to explore the religions. You see, it's all a beautiful game. There's no ending to this game. There's no ending, delighted ones. So stop racing. Stop competing. There is no ending. Try all religions. Have it be exploratory. Be rich in spirit. Don't give yourself judgment and closing off. Remember, if you're closed, what does the closing do? It separates you, it discriminates you, and it shuts you down. And it will break you and bring you illness and disease because it's, again, a scientific equation. Whatever is going on within is what you have without, and whatever is not above will not be below. And that's why the systems will fail. Because the systems that are showing you that which is war is the discrimination of that person that is pushing and saying this, we must do war. We must hurt people and throw very powerful missiles and arms because we must show ourselves as powerful missile people. We must show the world that we are going to separate ourselves from the world by saying we are very powerful in our missiles and in our power. And we're going to destroy things because we think we're powerful. When you sit down, delighted ones, and as Joanna has said to you from day one, draw it out. What does that show you? That shows you now that your soul must take on the karma of 10, 12, 20, 30,000 people that you have just killed to show yourself that you are powerful. Because your soul on the other side will say, well, now we've got to sort out all that karma of those unnecessarily and needless deaths, of those children that were meant to be great healers or teachers, or great intuitives that will help this planet transcend into another level of love and unity. But these people are not choosing to be powerful in unification, not to be powerful in divine altruism or benevolence. These beings are being powerful in who they can bomb and show their places as war. Because in the world of the wounded divine masculine, it is all about showing thyself power and suppressing the divine feminine of the intuitiveness, or openness, or sensitiveness, or healingness, or emotionality. Because they are so very wounded, they have one emotional experience, and that is power over others, dominance. Because it allows them to stand fully in their separative experience. And they are separating themselves, they are discriminating against themselves, they are judging themselves, they are hating themselves, they are killing themselves. Do you see what we're saying, dear lighted ones? It is an equation and it always comes back to one. What you do to another will be done, thus then equally, to the soul, to the energy, to the story that one has to make sense with, make balance with, and forgive all because they're aspects of you. Integrate it. Do you see what we're saying, dear lighted ones? You can make peace with anything. Draw it out. To have dominance over another, to trick another, to have another take on your debts and your burdens, to trick somebody to think you will be bounded to them and they you. They're illusions and it's not true. It's misguided beliefs. Because you have a wound so deep inside of you that you want somebody to be bound to you or take on your karma or take on your negativity or darkness because you can't face your darkness all on your own. You created it on your own, therefore it is equally true that you can face it on your own. Face your wounds of no sense of self, dear lighted ones. In any moment that you have a no sense of self, define it and face it. I acknowledge this trigger and I'm going to integrate this. I have the power because I'm a profound master. I wanted to experience this emotion. I wanted to experience this codependence. I wanted to experience this habit. I wanted to experience this addiction because I know that equally there is always the opposite experience. For there is always wholeness. There is never not wholeness. There is always wholeness. Now you've got to find and navigate your way into wholeness, which is always, it's always there. What about acknowledging it? What about accepting it? What about living in that vibration of acceptance? Start there, dear lighted ones. Draw it out. Killing, sacrificing, harming, and spell work and magic and all of the harmful things that are on the negative side of the infinity cycle. Draw it out. Everything spirals in now. Draw a spiral beneath your infinity symbol. One side of the infinity, draw a negative on the left, a neutral in the middle, and a positive on the right. It is constantly spiraling in a now experience. Anything that you do is of negative intervention of the universal laws, right use of free will, and non-interference. If you are interfering, then it will be a negative experience and it will come back at you. Therefore, you are degrading yourself. You are suppressing yourself. You are weighting yourself. You are destructing yourself. So what you need to opposite that, you need to bring yourself in with a neutrality of accepting it all, opening it up, forgiving you all, because forgiveness is a neutral experience to open into positive. You must find your way to the equations, dear lighted ones. It will show you in every way. And leaders of all worlds, of all countries, should be getting in touch with healers and light workers aboard, because they're everywhere. And begin gifting you with creational reality offerings so that you all understand that the people and the power that you think you hold is far grander than that, and you have a responsibility because you will be accountable. There will be no escaping the consequence of that, dear lighted ones. When you reach 5D, you will be fully integrated as one. What you do absolutely affects every being on this planet. It affects the wildlife. It affects how the animals treat the animals. It affects how the water moves about your planet. Make no mistake about that, that's why there will be topography changes. Because as your consciousness changes into unification, the upper lands, the physical lands, just as in your body, remember, micro, macro. As you command the loving spirit of thyself, your topography will change. The bones will change, the muscle will change, the mass will change. How different is it, dear lighted ones, of your planet? It isn't. We're showing you that. Your planet is showing you that. When you have earthquakes and things that wash away land into water. Why is that, dear lighted ones? Don't think of it as a tragedy. Things must change. And if you are aligned with spirit, then spirit will show you where to go. If you are near water and there will be a tsunami or a wave that you're meant not to be in, your spirit will align you. You've got to move now. Get up and move. They're all very necessary changes of ascension. So don't think of it as this fear-mongering thing, oh no, oh no. No, there's been a lot of density and darkness. And the more that you stay there and conjure in it and sit yourself in it, you're going to conjure it and sit in it. So, be washed away by the waves and you go back to source and start all over again. Do you see what we're saying? There's no end to this story. You get to choose where you want to be in the story. What character do you want to play? Do you want to be a positive part of the character? Do you want a positive, loving story to say, hey, I'm going to make right because I want to integrate with everything that I've done. I want to actually face that fucking darkness. Face it. Put down your fucking stick and face it. Rather than going and blowing up and harming and hurting and having all that darkness on your karma, fucking face it. What are you waiting for? What are you hiding from? Face it, dear lighted ones. Integrate it. What happens when you integrate, dear lighted ones? Take a deep breath. You're going to open up into whole new levels of acceptance. Doesn't it feel good to accept? You can just sit back and just smile and be loving and say, I've learned something new today. I'm not going to judge myself anymore. I'm perfect as I am. I was brought up in systems where I was judged and I was discriminated and I was beat on and I was sexually molested and abused. And I was told it wasn't okay to be liking other boys or other girls because the divine masculines have been wounded for eons to think that they must like women and they must treat their women in a certain way. They must handle life. They must handle women. They must handle experiences to make them seem powerful, to make them seem above the rest, and to seem accepted and more aligned with a powerful leader. And it's absolutely false. And every single one of these men are seeing their worlds crumble around them, regardless of how much money they think they have. And all of their elitism means absolutely nothing. Why? Because their spirits and souls are showing them, I am so very wounded. I need to face. I need to face what I have suppressed. I need to face the beliefs I have taken on that are not mine. I was always intuitive. I was always balanced. I'm highly psychic. I'm highly empathic. But how about I do something good and positive with my gifts now? Instead of trying to control and harm and spellcast and hurt and human test and defile and degrade and handle another. If you don't want to be handled, dear lighted ones, don't handle another because they will refuse to be handled. If they are wise and they are awakened and their consciousness level is of their own spirit, they will never handle anything or anybody handle them. Because they understand the free-flowing acceptance, experience that is God. God is always open and flowing. God never handles you, dear lighted ones. God will send in an angel for divine intervention to assure that the highest of the elegant plans will unfold. Because there are those that have their rights and they are well within their rights, and they will be protected. They don't deserve to be handled. They don't deserve to be treated like a mess. Because they're very divine. They have divine codes that will help heal millions of people. That absolutely are asking for it at the heart measure. For God always creates within the heart measurement. And the heart measurement right now for the destiny of humanity is unity. Unity and diversity. Now we ask you this, dear lighted ones, and we say take a great pause. Are your leaders acting within equal measure? Who you give your power to, are they acting within equal measure? Are they tuned in with the collective heartbeat of unity and oneness? Are they tuning into the collective heartbeat of sacredness and ambassadorship of land and earth and people and water and air and animals and sacredness and sacred teaching and sacred silence and sacred activation of individuality and diversity of that individuality, of expression, exploration, and experience? Are your leaders in equal measure? Yes or no? Give yourself the acknowledgement of what you know to be true. I'm asking this because I want you to answer out loud when I ask this question. I want you to build your confidence in knowing what you know at your heart level. Here we go. Are your leaders in equal measure of ambassadorship to sacred people, land, or waters, or air, or life? Yes or no? Your heart has answered what you choose to see for your new earth. Do you see how co-creational reality is so exciting, dear lighted ones? You're giving yourself permission to know what you know. It's your story, know it. Be very proud to know who you are. This is the first step to the divine masculine, healing who they are. Every experience of being and body with bones and skin on your body will move through their evolutionary experience of who they are as divine feminine and divine masculine, healing the Adam Eve project. And because divine masculines have been so very suppressed, erasing and suppressing and subjugating and handling divine feminine to be erased from the creational story, there has been great imbalance and great harm. Great imbalance and great harm, which has brought about the divine masculines acting and behaving in very egoic, very harmful, very dominating, very ugly ways. Because there's nobody else for them to control, because everything around them is not wanting to be controlled, and they're moving away, and the worlds are breaking and crumbling, regardless of how much money they might have. Because not everybody will want to be pimped and sold and traded and bid. They want to stand sovereignly in who they are as spirit. And spirit will absolutely support that because it is the universal right use of free will and non-interference. Everybody has their right to explore, express, experience God in their own journey and in their own way, for all will return to God and source. And that is very powerful. How is a powerful leader of equal measure to be that of God? to allow all its people their own sacred exploration, their own sacred diversity, to be an ambassadorialship of caretaking for the planet and the earth, not to be bought and sold and owned by one billionaire or trillionaire, but to share the resources equally. Now I ask you this to own your power, dear lighted ones. Are your leaders showing equal measure to the sharing of resources equally, yes or no? Do you see the vibration that just changed, dear lighted ones, in this experience? Your hearts are pulsating what you know about your reality, and you're changing your reality. So now you can seek that which is equal measure. We choose leaders of equal measure. If we want our lands to be peaceful and sacred, we want our waters to be clean, we want our air to be clean, we want all beings to have a sacred voice, the elders, the children, the animals, all that is sacred life. If it's inclusive, dear lighted ones, the universal equation of all that is, the universal equation of wholeness, why would the divine feminine have no voice? Why? Is that inclusive? Is that a part of the equal measure equation? That's what needs to be healed. And we also flip it on the other side, dear lighted ones, the divine masculine collective that is showing itself very equally and very profoundly in need of healing and change. Is it inclusive and integrative for a divine masculine to go through its entire lineage, thousands and thousands and thousands of years, or being reincarnated into divine feminine or masculine bodies, for the divine masculine never to know itself as intuitive, or healing, or empathic, or moments of being attracted to the same sex, which has no bearing on who you are as a beautiful, powerful being? Powerful is not separating and discriminating and saying, no, I'm not gay, I'm going to suppress it. No, power is owning who you are. Offering yourself integration, not discriminating and pushing yourself away. And we say this, dear lighted ones, with great measure. Great, great measure of healing. This has never been said before on your planet. And this is what Joanna wanted to remind Scotty to remind her of. For a soul's experience to grow, dear lighted ones, in the equal measure and the equation of God, the integration of who you are as God. For you, each and every one of you, whether you accept it or not, each and every one of you are godly. Wherever you are on your consciousness path of your integration of who you are as God, your acceptance of God, acknowledgement, and allowance of God, when you're allowing, you're opening up to God, you will be blessed as God. It's just the equation of life. Now, the expansiveness of a soul, dear lighted ones, in its journey through exploration, experience, and expression, the 3 E's that equal the big E, which is evolution. And in this, dear lighted ones, whether you put on the body of a divine masculine or the body of a divine feminine, it does not matter, and that's why genders are so confused right now. And it's okay, it has to be. It's a catalyst for change. It's a catalyst to heal the very deep wounds that must be faced. Whatever body you put on, it does not matter. How you feel inside your body, inside your experience, is the mechanism of the spiral of now of the soul that is showing you and forwarding you into integration. Now, we ask you, dear lighted ones, we're giving this to you an example. One man that was brought into a conversation Joanna had yesterday about this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful being that was going through an experience of confusion because it was offering itself the experience of wanting to be attracted to a man. But in its entirety of its soul experience up to the level of consciousness that it had integrated. Integrated of its level of consciousness is equal to what we've had said to you earlier about the DNA allocation. The more light you integrate, the more acceptance you integrate, the more that you integrate yourself as a soul of having many soul fragments, many soul experiences, many bodies, many realms, many planets, and in those many planets, many bodies, many realms, many souls, many forms that you have taken, you've had opportunities to see yourself and the belief systems of those timelines and lifetimes. And this one lifetime that was ready to be acknowledged and integrated, to be brought in as whole, was a timeline where this person in the now body was going through an experience of another lifetime, simultaneous now because everything is now, the spiral of now is now, and in that other lifetime there was another male body that it was also experienced, but it was suppressed in its experience wanting to explore and experience and express itself in the attraction of a man. So the gender of what you have called itself as a man, attracting another man experience, but in that lifetime it's very suppressed, and it was very subjugated, and it was very downplayed, and it was very isolated in its experience of itself, expression of itself, and its exploration of itself to do what was only natural of the soul's evolution. It's very natural, dear lighted ones, make no mistake about this, and this is a soul truth. Whether you're in a beautiful divine feminine body or divine masculine body, it is very natural for the soul's evolution, for the 3 E's to equal the big E, to be attracted to the same sex. It must be. Why? Because it is integrative. You are integrating yourself as a whole on all fragments, on all experiences. Do not judge yourself or discriminate or subjugate. And so this person went through profound healing, for it knew that all of the isolations that it had felt and pressed upon itself and created for itself, it allowed itself to create such distance, such discrimination from everybody around them, because it was taking on the energies of that other lifetime that did not get healed, for its experience of liking men in a man body, because it was so not accepted. And in this lifetime, what did they do? They took on that same theme because it was not yet healed. And deep within the soul psyche, it chose to suppress it into an experience of being an underground experience because it was not accepted in the timeline before and it had not healed that. It had not accepted it, had not integrated, had not opened it up to be whole. Because there's so many staunch belief systems and dirtiness, if you will. There's no need to. You have to heal it. But instead of healing it, delighted ones, what your collective has done is created an entire underground business of billions and billions of dollars to trade and traffic. Because it's just not facing the infinite woundings of billions of men on the planet, and women too, that have been so suppressed in the subjugation of liking the same sex in its natural soul's evolution. And it's also healing many other timelines and lifetimes of that 51% of karma, 3 to 5D, that each and every one of you must transmute. Now, delighted ones, let's take this a step further. Now, you've just integrated so much and you can heal yourself in this, whatever you're feeling in the moment, because many of you are married, many of you are in heterosexual experiences, many of you will be changing and shifting and merging and harmonizing, being more open and being more satisfied in your acknowledgement of self, of your acceptance of self, in your loving of self, in your forgiveness of self, that there will be no underground. And you will not ever touch or harm an innocent younger child going against their free will, because you've now honored who you are in the experience of you. You're not suppressing yourself to be thought of as not okay and not accepted because you like the same sex. You don't have to hide. You don't have to subjugate. So in this one profoundly world issue that causes soul and spiritual harm and karma, that is carried to the whole collective, that must be faced and must be healed because there is great damage done to the innocent children that have come to be the catalyst for healing. They have chosen those roles. And they will have to go through great healing for every single adult that has chosen to place them as a toy of sex. Because there are suppressed, wounded issues, many timelines deep. And why the underworld will become up. And it will be now, and it will be facing you, and it will be needing to be healed. It's a natural soul experience. However, what is part of your conscience, part of your opening consciousness, is for you to accept and to integrate it and then be a part of positive healing and integration. Because those children still have to be healed. You negatively affected a child outside of their free will. The first laws, and they were held in deep imbalance, law number 2. Everything is an equation, delighted ones, and everything you do affects the equation of the all. So if, delighted ones, you truly want to be a master, you have to take part in whatever deeds of positive action to make right on the deeds that you've made wrong. And we say wrong in that you chose to suppress yourself of the integration of wholeness. Rather becoming suppressive and underground trafficking sex ring issues, they never had to occur, as we said from day one. Why not just own yourself? Why not just heal that wound from another lifetime while you were subjugated? And why don't you just come out of the closet and be open and accept who you are? And then have open, responsible communications to say, I want to be involved and explore and express and experience myself as this. Is this okay? And experience an open conversation where you're very mature and you're leveling up and you're coming out of kindergarten and not harming people. And you're being very responsible by placing yourself in protection and protecting yourself on your appendages that need to go inside another person. You're taking accountability. You're being a master, delighted ones. Grow up. Stop suppressing what is. It will keep showing itself until you accept it. That, my friends, is true power. Accept it. That is being powerful. That is being courageous. You get to choose your story. We are telling you that as a collective, this is the story. Why the underground got created. Why? What is the core wounding of the underground? Whether it's trafficking children for slavery, whether it is trafficking children for sex, whether it's underground sexual rings and handling and pimping, what is that? What is that wound? Many different wounds depending on what side of the gate you're on. Everybody will have to face it, and everybody will be a part of positively impacting healing and integration. Because you want to be someone of equal measure. And why, dear lighted ones? Because 2024 is about manifestation, and you're choosing in this very now moment, what will you manifest? Because it absolutely will, without question, 100,000 million trillion jillion %, it will absolutely face you. Now you can run and hide, and you can press little buttons that will harm and hurt others, and you get to choose what part of the puzzle and what part of the plan and what part of the story will you play, because either way, it will sit upon your soul. And it's not a punishment at all, dear lighted ones. You will have to learn the lessons that the soul wants to learn. And your conscience, at some point, will kick in. Because what you do to another is exactly what you do to you. Stop harming yourself. Put the sticks down. Stop fighting against yourself. Put the sticks down. Stop degrading and shadow banning and veiling those of very important voice, because there is a plan, and God's plan will always prevail. Everybody has the right use of free will and non-interference. They have the right to their destiny, period. That is a universal truth. And every single person on this planet, if they so choose to reclaim their power, as we asked you 2 very important questions in this episode, are your leaders of equal measure, of right use of free will, yes or no? Own who you are, own your voice. What is your answer, yes or no? We want you to become very quick at owning who you are and who your story is. And why, when you are asked by a leader or a master, who are you? You absolutely have an answer. I know myself. I ask myself questions all the time. What I see right now, there is not equal measure. And what is it showing you, delighted ones? What is what we've asked you about your leaders? What is that showing you, delighted ones? What is it showing you? And those with quick fingers, type your answer below. It's showing you equal measure to are you the leader of you. You all get a prize. Sovereignty, dear lighted ones. Are you the leader of you? Share these very important teachings, dear lighted ones, for they are collective issues that can be healed without any harm to any. And it takes a brave, 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 powerful soul to sit down and be in silence and know that your voice is the tongue of God. Know that your cells are listening, that you are the power of your body, that you are the love of your body, you are the acceptance of your body, you are the integration of all that is outer, so that you can integrate all that is inner. And when you have triggers and experiences, own it. Remember, get to the refinement of your vibration. What are you feeling? Are you feeling separation? Are you feeling isolation? Are you feeling abandonment? Are you feeling rejection? Get to the core energy. Be a master of your definitions of how you're feeling. How are you feeling? Own your voice. Deep breath. And we're going to ask you another important question, dear lighted ones. You're getting very good at answering and owning your voice and owning your intuitions, owning the insider part of you that is the God part, that's showing you how you feel. Own that. When somebody asks you how you feel, own it. This is how I'm feeling right now, and I'm going to own it. Give me a few moments to process this energy. I'm going to own it. Because I want to go out into the world and be very balanced. I want to go out into the world and be very honoring and kind to myself. Because I know it's going to come back to me, so how about I act responsibly right now? That's a part of preparing you for Fade 5D, dear lighted ones, because again, we're preparing you to meet beings of the universe you don't even have names for. So if you cannot be accepting and owning and honoring of your own life, and the separation and dissension and all of these tactics on people around you because you don't believe in the church they believe in, or you don't believe in the clothes they're wearing, or you don't believe that that person might have breasts as opposed to non-breasts, you're discriminating your own self. You're discriminating your own life. You're discriminating what's going to come to you. Because remember, if you're closed, discriminating, separating, and judging, that's a closed system equation. You will not receive except for what that is, which is darkness and disease, because that's all darkness can do. But if you're open and integrating Ala bara kesha shiana na kara de kaida makara de cases ya laila malala da kara de kesha shiana makara de kaida de kara de kesha shimana kara de gaina makara de kasina na ya de na ya de kesha shiana na. I'm opening, I'm integrating all that I am love in all lifetimes. I release all beliefs that are subjugating me and suppressing me about divine feminine or divine masculine. I choose a full integration of the Adam Eve experience through all lifetimes. And whatever comes up through any of my daily experiences, I'm going to own it. I'm going to integrate it. Where there's a divine masculine energy that needs to be healed, a divine feminine energy that needs to be healed, I'm going to heal my chakras. I'm going to heal all that I am. Because those are showing themselves to me for a reason. I want to integrate that, and I want to be whole in it. I'm going to open to it because God will bless me in it. Amen. God will bless me in it. Amen. God will bless me in it. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that I am. Air, Asher, air, air, Asher, air, air, Asher, air, air, Asher, air. And in the very center of your body, ask yourself this question, dear lighted ones. As I move about my day in any moment, can I fully integrate all that I see before me as a part of who I am, yes or no? Give yourself permission to be grander than you were a minute ago. Give yourself permission and acknowledge yourself as better than you were a minute ago. And we see better as integrated, as full, as honoring. Are you rich in spirit, yes or no? Are you aspects of all divine feminine and divine masculine? Do you have lifetimes of divine feminine and divine masculine, yes or no? Do you know that you have infinite beliefs that can be integrated? Because the more beliefs that you can integrate, the fuller you are, the whole you are, yes or no? Is your 2024, is your year ahead of you? Are you going to be excitedly looking forward to the anticipation of receiving and integrating more and more of you, more and more of God, yes or no? Can God be an all-encompassing essence of greatness, of sweetness, of sacredness, of infinity, yes or no? Can you see God outside of religions or churches, yes or no? Can you see God as just the breath in the air as you're walking along the beach? Can you see God in the little child that runs across your street, playing basketball or hockey, yes or no? Can you see God in the healing of a disease overnight, yes or no? Can you see the food in your fridge as God, yes or no? Can you see that your words are healing your body, yes or no? Can you know that you are equal measure to God, yes or no? That's a start, dear lighted ones. Do you feel different now, yes or no? Do you feel healed now, dear lighted ones, yes or no? Do you feel soothed now, dear lighted ones, yes or no? Do you love who you are, dear lighted ones, yes or no? Do you know that your voice matters, dear lighted ones, yes or no? Do you know that you are within the heaven's heartbeat when you say, I love you, Father and Mother, that they hear you right back and they are with you in every moment, and they are gently, gently, gently kissing your forehead, yes or no? Do you know that you are loved by the Mother and the Father, yes or no? Do you know that the Mother and the Father love you equally, yes or no? Do you know that the Mother and Father sit equally within the very center of your being? And there is a spark, there is a light that never goes out, regardless of what hate or darkness is placed upon you. Yes or no? Do you believe in yourself as the spark of God, yes or no? That belief, dear lighted ones, will take you anywhere. That's God. That's God, dear lighted ones, that's God. Shifting in your body right now, that's God. Moving about your blood right now, that's God. Healing your organs and healing your bones, that's God. Do you believe yourself as God? Not as the arrogance of a separation or a discrimination or better than or powerful of. We are saying the sweetness of all that is God. That's the difference, dear lighted ones. The leaders that will be the leaders of 5D, moving daily, getting up daily, are those that integrate and include sweet, gentle, loving oneness. With the surety and the clarity that your voice is that of the Almighty Spirit within your higher self, fully aligned, fully integrated, fully activated, chakra by chakra, field by field, word by word, intention, direction, and focus. That is the essence of your wholeness. Nothing outside of you is needed. Nothing outside of you needs to be forced. That is you and God. The intimacy of a great journey, dear lighted ones. Ooh, that feels good. How do you guys feel? Put your comments below. That feels so good. And you just feel all wishy-washy and you feel all, that's God. That felt so good. I feel good. That's what God is. God is sweet and God is kind and God is sacred and God is just voluptuous and being sweet and gentle. God will always place you where you need to be. God will always bless your body with the highest integration. If you want to feel your vibrations, because I'm feeling it in my field, your vibrations are different now than it was an hour ago. Because the intention of this session was to infuse your already knowing, to own your voice, to own your intuitiveness, and why we ask those questions, why Spirit asking you those questions. Because we want you to get used to answering quickly and affirmatively and with accuracy. Trust how you feel and own it and say it. What you see is what you see. What you experience is what you experience. Own it. You don't have to make anybody outside of you own your story or believe in your story. You're owning how you feel within. That's all that matters. Your story is within you. That is the God essence that's coming out to be practiced, to coming out to be performanced, to coming out to be the expression and the experience and the exploration of God. That's the God in you coming out to play. So if you don't own it and all you do is suppress it, what will return to you? Experiences of suppression. Those that want to suppress you, those that want to dominate you. So now the collective hearts are saying, no, we're owning who we are. We are owning how we feel. We understand that in a soul's journey of evolution, that there will be times and moments and experiences where we will have those attractions of our same sex. And so, and there's nothing in our collective that needs to suppress or hide anything, and why the underground is there, because there was so much wounding of the many staunch, misguided, incorrect, limiting, subjugatory beliefs that the divine masculines chose to take on. They chose it. Every divine masculine in a divine masculine body, same for a divine feminine that's going through a divine masculine period. If that phase of her ascension that wants to practice being in her divine masculine because she has to stand up and be a leader for a moment, and divine feminines are leaders. They're just choosing to activate more of their divine masculine energies. And they can float between both of them as a healed person. A healed person, a balanced person, is somebody that can float to both aspects of energies and use those energies. It's a sacred process of alchemy. So own the absolute experience of your soul's excavation and your soul's evolution. It's okay. Accept it, integrate it. The more integrative you are, the more accepting you are, the more full you are, the more radiant you are, the more abundant you will be, because you're accepting more of spirit or for source. And make no mistake about it, the healthier you will be. Because you're not shutting down any part of your body, your belief systems, or who you are becoming a spirit. To become more a spirit, you are becoming more full. To carry more of your light body, you are carrying more light in fullness of radiance. The emanations of what you radiate to creation will bring you back, because you are an equation. Every day you wake up, you're an equation. How do you speak to yourself as an equation? I know my voice. I know my truth. My voice is the equation of spirit, period. My spirit. What I believe and what I show myself and what I integrate is me. It's my life experience. I'm not asking anybody to take my stuff on. These are my expressions of a higher vibrational truth. Now go away and reflect and observe on your own life. Choose your own life. Choose your own beliefs. Choose your own direction. Choose your exploration of God. That's being a master. That's being your self-directed commander of your vessel, of your mind, of your power of you being spirit. And has nothing to do with harming, hurting, or interfering any other. And that's why when we ask you these questions and we bring these up as very powerful, informative experiences, it causes you to be in reflection of what you see outside of you. Are the leaders of equal measure, of integratum, of balance, of sacredness, of being in fairness and equity of all beings of life, elders, divine feminine, and children? Are the abundances shared equally, yes or no? Do you know yourself? I absolutely. Ask me some questions. And this is why you're going to be attracting those that can answer those questions. Are you in full understanding of where you are in your consciousness story, who you are as a consciousness being? What have you integrated as God? What have you integrated as the divine feminine masculine energies that are coming up to show you, yes, there's something there to be integrated? I can answer those questions. I practice this daily. Anything that comes to before me, I'm saying, how can I integrate this? Or can I choose to prefer to go around it? Still accept it. It's still God. It's still meant to be there. You don't have to discriminate. You don't have to separate. You don't have to force them in by doing spells. You don't have to force them in by doing sacrifices to make you look more powerful. Does it look more powerful when you draw it out and you draw the infinity? Sit down and draw it out. That's why we say what we say, because you're going to activate your cell memory. Draw it out. One side is positive, one side is negative. When you draw it out and you draw out all the times that you sacrificed anything, if you're somebody that does black magic and voodoo and root work and all that stuff, when you are interfering with somebody else's life, because your higher self would never say that. Your higher self would never say, go do root work on somebody. Your higher self would never say that. Your higher self lives in the highest universal laws of your highest evolution. So you know that people that do that, draw it out, Scotty, good boy. You've got that going on. I'm going to ask you a bigger question in a second. Your spirit teams are giving you guys a lesson through me. Those that do sacrifices, you draw it out, and on the negative side of the infinity symbol, write down and just do a line for everybody that you have sacrificed. Anybody that does masonry work and you do sacrificial work and you pay people and you bid people and you handle people, draw a line for every person that you have paid or spent money on to do spell work, to interfere and dominate their life. Those are the negative aspects, and we can do this if we do very subtly, because I'm a parent and I know. Because we only want the best for our children. And sometimes what we want as parents is still a way that we press our will and our wants on our children that is not their wills and wants. Those are your life issues, not theirs. So be very aware. That's what being consciously aware and awake is. You're very mindful. You're very mindful of the thought projections you walk around in your house. You're very careful and mindful about what you're presenting to the world in front of them. You're very careful about what you're saying as a statement of persuasion. You're very careful, because all that adds up. Again, when you cross over, when they talk about Osiris, and Isis was a goddess of the balancing scales, is your heart as light as a feather? When they say that, those are very symbolic messages, because on the left-hand side of the infinity, we're just giving this to you an example, it could be on the right, it doesn't matter. If there are a lot of those negatives, which is very heavy and dense experiences that you chose to interfere, you chose to press yourself on somebody else's life, you chose to force, manipulate, take, steal, whatever it was that was going against the sacredness of a life, whether it's yours or another's, that energy will be equally returned to you on your life. Whether it be a disease, whether it be poverty, whether it be no opportunities, that has to be paid off. It has to be brought into balance. And if you refuse to make it right by positive, loving, integrative action of pure intention to be one with what you chose, that's how you know you're clearing karma. You're not clearing karma if you are nowhere within the center of this infinity. If you're doing it to make it look like you're clearing karma, but there's no heartfelt experience to integrate that energy, you will not clear karma. Did you sit and really truly think about the years that that person suffered when you took that money from that person and had them be homeless? Were you in that person's shoes when they cried every night because they were homeless and away from their children? Did you understand that the light taken from the children because their mother was homeless for 2 years, did you take that into account and the suffering that woman went through? Did you take it into account that when that woman woke up every day, that she was being suppressed and subjugated by financial restrictions or by gangs of people doing spell work and human testing on her life because she's so very tapped into God? And the suffering that she had to go through to feel so much hate and transmute it on top of her everyday dark night of the soul, and being away from her children, and being subjugated with financial restriction, and being impaled by emotional and spiritual distress, and not being given free reign to be heard equally and seen equally on the world like every other billions of YouTube channels.
Zero growth for 6 years. And how does that feel to the soul when there's so much devotion put into that? How does that woman feel when she's actually picking up little wormies from the cement to move them over to the soil on a rainy day so that little wormy doesn't get hurt, because she knows that that wormy adds nutrients to the soil that goes into helping the food? That little movement of moving that wormy back to the soil to add value to the planet, to add value to the soils, to add value to everybody that eats food from the soils. And that woman is suppressed for 6 and 8 and 10 years of discrimination and hate and impaling of energies and impaling of domination and wanting to be handled. So when you say that you're going to clear karma, sit down and fucking work it out. You want to show spirit that you're serious about being a master, work it the fuck out. Those are just like a few things off the top of my head on what I had to process. And I still have to process as a soul. And that's the damage that's done through discrimination and subjugation. And Divine Feminine have to work 100 times harder to be seen equally, to be heard equally. And we're not doing it as a competition or a race. No, we deserve to be heard and seen. We will be a part of our creational story because we're here. We birth life on the planet. We bring healing, we bring wisdoms, we bring beauty, we bring texture and color to life. None will get through Ascension without facing the Divine Feminine and masculine woundings. And when you sit with it in the center of your heart, the center of your being right here, deep inside you, in the very center of your chest, deep within the center of your chest right here, deep, deep within you, there is a spark that is the Mother, Father, God. That is what's called the trigger of conscience. When you activate that trigger, that beautiful soul spark that never goes out, doesn't matter how much you're impaled by hate, doesn't matter how much people want you to switch destinies with someone that has no idea about energy or energy work, and you think about if you draw that out, somebody that wants to switch a destiny with something that's not in their soul blueprint, something that they're not aligned for, something they're not prepared for. If somebody is not prepared to hear multiverse energy, that person will go insane. Because that person that thinks that they want a destiny of somebody that is a spiritual teacher, healer, leader, that has been trained for eons to do that job, to be that God has specifically trained for eons to be that aspect of that soul blueprint in recognition of itself, in honor of itself, in fulfillment of itself, that is eons of training. And somebody that thinks, because they don't have a sense of self and they're feeling very insecure, thinks that they want a destiny swap because a person might be getting more attention, if you will, even though her channel has been shadow banned. That person that thinks they can handle that destiny of that energy, because it really can't, that wholeness of that body, the wholeness of that body is just shut down. The DNA is not activated, so that person can't take that destiny on. Because the DNA is not activated, that allocation of the DNA is not activated because it's sitting in darkness of less than and insecurity. The DNA swap will just simply not occur. God and the souls and the teams and the guides will give a perspective of an opportunity over a period of time where that person thinks they're talking to spirits and the spirits might be haunting them, if you will, just to give them a glimpse as to what a true conduit goes through so that they can actually sort out, did I really want that destiny swap? Maybe there's something different for me. Maybe I can be me. Maybe I have my own destiny with God. Maybe it's great for me. Again, being who you are has nothing to do with comparing yourself to anything outside of you. The world outside of you is just showing you aspects of integration. You're not meant to be better than anyone, more important than anybody, anything and anything. It's not a competition. Life is not a competition. You only feel that because you were never given what you needed as your young child, the innocent child, the sacred child, as a sense of self. So you have to build that sense of self. Anytime you feel jealousy or envy, go within and build your sense of self and your self-acceptance, period. The harm that's been done, the damage that's been done, the copious amounts of money spent to spellcast, to harm, to degrade, to defile, to erase, to break, to kill, to premeditate, whatever those monies were traded and spent on my story, for example, is not needed, any of it. That money could have been put to build a healing home, to send money to the thousands of families that are displaced in Gaza. You see what we're saying? When you draw it out, you will activate your divine intelligence. And you will hopefully activate the conscience, the mindfulness which comes from your heart. Mindfulness is not from the mind. If you are centered in your heart, your mind will follow suit. That's how profound your heart is. When you know that your heart knows that all is one, your mind is just a tool to help you navigate whatever is before you. That's it. The mind is a very powerful tool, but it is not the tool. Make no mistake about that. Your godliness is your tool. Exactly. Draw it out. If you draw the body, where is the power of your body? And we say the power of manifestation. Where is it? Everything in creation is energy. When you activate energy with an emotion, that's how you manifest. If you're sitting in a wounding, you're going to manifest wounding. If you're sitting in a very balanced and neutral state where all is one, you want to integrate everything. I'm open to everything, Spirit. Whatever comes before me, I'm open. I will integrate. I will love. It's all meant to be. It's all perfect. Everything is perfect. Our planet is perfect. Our people are perfect. Everything that everybody believes is perfect. In every moment, we're moving to more perfection. We're accepting ourselves. We're integrating ourselves. We're moving to higher levels of consciousness. My mindfulness is meaning that I am accepting all as the heartfelt experience of being God. God would never judge or discriminate. It's just being more godly. That comes from here. Being godly is not in your head. Anybody that tells you that or preaches that, again, it's a misunderstanding and a misguidance. And again, are they in equal measure? When we talk about the mind of God, it was a metaphysical term. The mind of God was a way of a 3D, it was a 3D statement. A 3D statement of our 3D words. The mind of God is infinite divine plans that go beyond what we have words for. It's not an actual mind. The mind of God is the infinite essence of sound, harmonics, and equations of love. That's what the mind of God is. So in that, what I just said, where does that come from? The sound, the harmonics, the equations of love, where does that come from? Your mind is the tool to navigate what I just said. Your mind is the one that says, okay, I know what a vibration is. I know that. That's a knowing. I know what a vibration is. I know what a song is. I know that. I know what love is. I can feel love in an infinite number of ways. But in essence, as we're talking about essence, as a vibration, where is that found in your experience of being a body? It's in here. The essence of God is in here. Now, when you know that, when you're working with healing, when you're working with manifesting, when you're working with creating love for our planet, where do you begin? You begin in here. That's why your chakras are so important. Your I am presence. I am that I am. I am the stars. I am the heavens. I am all that is. I am all before me. I am all within me. I'm all above and I am below. That's godliness. That is the mind. The mind is all. It's a tool. The tool of godliness, but you activate your godliness from within. It was a metaphor for the infinite aspects of God creation. The 3 E's equal the 4th E. That's the mind of God. It's infinite. There's infinite ways that we can explore God. That's the mind of God. It's not a mind. God doesn't have a mind. It's a way, it was a metaphor that we can align with the infinite ways that we explore, the infinite ways that we express, the infinite ways that we experience. That's why, my dear friends, dear lighted ones, there won't be churches in 5D. They'll just be all. That's the mind of God. You never needed a church to experience God. It was just a place we met. Okay, but we can evolve beyond that. We can have that too. Equal opportunity. It's all valid. It's all necessary. But God is God. The mind of God is that which activates alchemy. Why do you need to know that, delighted ones? Because when you draw it out, you'll see that you have to alchemize something. You can't get from one place to another without alchemizing it. That's why we have the infinity symbol. Because it's all the same energy.
We have to crisscross it because of why? Why do we have to crisscross? If we take a circle, dear lighted ones, which is God. This is like alchemic school. I'm teaching you the alchemy. Draw a circle. Next to the circle, or underneath the circle, or above the circle, draw an infinity. Why do you think the infinity came from the circle? If you take a circle and you squish it in the middle just a little bit, and you turn it like this, and then there'll be a bulb here and a bulb there, and in the very middle, you're saying that I have a divine feminine, I have a divine masculine side, and if I open it up, it's all godly. What does the infinity show you, delighted ones? It shows you that you are a circle. Yes, you are a circle. You've always been a circle. And you'll be always operating from divine feminine, divine masculine. You're always operating the minutiae of energy, the movement of energy, the movement of energy. The infinity shows you movement. The infinity shows you the alchemic experience of let's move the energy. Let's allow the energy. Let's open the energy. And in the wholeness of it, you're still God. You're still God. God is the mother. God is the father. However, back in your earliest of teachings, there was never a mother God. She was taken right out. She wasn't shown as valuable, purposeful. Most of the divine masculine collective have no idea about the divine mother. Why is that? Why would you disregard and spit on what birthed you? Why we have the issues we have today? Yes. When you come into the middle and you turn that balloon just like this, what does it mean when you turn? We want you to think about everything that you do because it's metaphorical as who you are as God. When you twist that balloon and you twist it like this, you're turning it upside down. You're turning it on its end. We're talking about, if you want to, your metaphysical tools, the tarot. Everything is alchemic. Everything is archetypal. You're now shifting the one thing that used to be one. We're now bringing it into the cellular mitosis. And we're now bringing two as it splits. As the cell splits, it becomes two. Are you seeing the alchemic experience of what God is, creating life? There was never only meant to be just one. There's always balance. So if there is a divine masculine, then there must be an equal balance of divine feminine. For if there isn't, it will be gravely imbalanced. So you take one cell and you try and make it two. So you twist and you turn it so that it's upside down, so that this side can see the opposite of this side and this side the opposite of that side. And therefore there will always be that engagement of equal opposites back and forth and back and forth. Yes, there has to be that equation of push and pull. Why do you think so? It goes back to the 3 E's, because we so very love to explore and express and experience ourselves. And how can we do that if everything is just the same? What will this world look like if it were just all men? You will have what's happening right now, and that is gender confusion. And that is not a judgment. It just means that it must be, because they have to be healed. Because every single person embody whatever they want to experience in that moment. Regardless of whether it's a genetic experience, whether it's a physical experience, whether it's a sexual experience. It does not matter what you define it. Do you see what you're saying? These are very profound statements that will show you the energy of what has been suppressed. Because there has been such a grave imbalance of the infinity. It has not been in balance. Has not been equal balance. Has not been equal. It's very gravely imbalanced. So what do you need to do to bring something back in balance? Sometimes because the heating and the warnings have not been taken. That is great, great experiences and explorations and expressions of gender. Why? We can take it, we can go on forever, delighted ones. These are Ascension classes. Look at your world as so exciting. You're rewriting new templates that have never been discussed before. These experiences have never been discussed before. How exciting is this? You are a part of creating new earth in this co-creation right now. Take a deep breath. Your celestial families and your celestial beings want you to be very proud of yourselves. Open up your arms to creation. Open your heart and your soul to creation and say, I am preparing myself to meet with the vast expansiveness of all that I am as cosmic and galactic and multiform beings. Because I'm understanding the real intricacies of divine feminine, divine masculine. I can twist it upside down. I can play with it. I can explore it and experience it in so many different ways. I can be the minutia and the mastery of it all. Isn't that fun? We don't have to stay limited in one expression and think we're never supposed to be attracted to anybody outside of ourselves or our sex. Why not? How boring would that be? However, that does include, though, that we allow for ourselves to know that we're not creating negative karma for ourselves, to know that there are the universal laws that help you manifest and negotiate and navigate around. Back in the olden days, if you will, all you had was the religious text that taught you kind of how to have a simple state of rules to stay within universal laws, the 10 Commandments. And then it was taken so out of context because it was so much fun controlling people with the 10 Commandments and telling people who were right and wrong and telling people they were going to power over other people if they didn't follow the 10 Commandments. And then it began a big power game. And then that's when it began to become controlled and fear-based. Because it was so much more fun to control people than just to allow them the sovereignty of the 3 E's. Because how dare you be evolved? And that's why there will be those spitting out residues, if you will, of those that are highly evolved, like Joanna, to come before you, and those that are not so evolved that want to fight against it and resist against it and attack. Because they don't want evolution, because they have to face what they have held in suppression of de-evolved experiences. At some point, you'll have to face it. Do you want to be evolved or not? Would you like to be a master or not? It doesn't matter. Either way, you're going to learn. Either way, you're going to be valuable. Either way, it's going to be a part of creation. It's all equal. Integrate it. Right? You've just taught you that. You can take it or leave it. It's up to you. We are passionate treating and creating oneness with you anyways. Teaching is Joanna's primary joy. It gives her so much integrative excitement and passion and purposefulness. It gives her so much joy to teach. She comes from a very long lineage of teachers and masters. It's who she is. She was built for this. She's coded to be a teacher of the divine. However, most of the creative collective is simply ignored and thrashed and spit and pushed down and suppressed and attacked. How dare you have weird and awkward ways of knowing what God is? How dare you? Well, how dare you, delighted ones, when there is an Andromedan standing before you, giving you an entirely different perspective of God that we've never even heard of. Will you say no to that push and pull? Will you resist it? Will you deny it? Or will you integrate it, delighted ones? What happens if you had an insectoid or a gray? Or a beautiful, divine, glowing Pleiadian? Or the beautiful Mother Mary standing before you? I love you, Mother Mary. I love you, Mother Mary, so much compassion and love for you. And the sisters of the Sacred Rose. The roses is so very important to your metaphorical teachings, delighted ones. And it belongs to the Divine Feminine. Why do you think that is? Because as Divine Feminine gets accepted into the allness as being equal, there will be thorns that will prick against the skin. Because those pricking against the skin is thousands of years through which the crucifixion of the Jesus was also pricked, through the judgment and the discrimination. And there will always be judgment and discrimination to accept the Divine Feminine body as being whole and sacred. And why the thorns appear on the stem. And why, dear lighted ones, there has been such discrimination and subjugation and such objectification, objectify the Divine Feminine's body. Do you see what we're saying? It's all one, it's all whole. As you discriminate the Divine Feminine, you objectify her, and her body becomes very prickly. And in that way, it will eventuate in disease, or harm, or underground behaviors, for you're not seeing it as sacred. We're teaching very great things here, delighted ones. Teach these in whatever way you so choose. And know stories of your own story. See the similarities, see the reflections. Just observe. Symbolisms and stories and everything, dear lighted ones. That's why we say, when there is killing for no reason at all to any aspect of life, whether it be a very beautiful tiger or an elephant or a giraffe with these big powered high shotguns and these hunting expeditions where they go and they just massively kill animals for no reason. There is a very symbolic story, as we just showed you, where the first experience, beginning as a circle, becomes an infinity and then splits off to be two cells. And then it becomes a whole new life all to itself. What gives anybody the right to go and blow away a sacred aspect of life when it had such sacred symbolisms and stories and energies that we haven't even dove into yet? Do you see what we're saying, dear lighted ones? Everything is connected. The circle is the infinity. The infinity is new experiences of reproduction, of growing, of growth, of integration, of becoming new. It's all connected. It's all connected. It's all connected. What you do to one divine feminine is done to all. How you have held one divine, galactic, cosmic, divine feminine back and suppressed her and shadow banned her and pushed her down and degraded her has been all women. What is the story of the Adam-Eve project in your own life? How can you integrate it and bring the 3 E's to a new level of fifth dimensional expression of you? It's about you. Who are you? Are you fully integrated in your divine feminine masculine? Do you hold your mother higher than your father? Do you hold your father higher than your mother? Who do you give more power to? Can you start giving your power to you now and healing those parts of you now? Can you know that your soul's going to go through infinite number of expressions so that you can be prepared to meet a fully integrated 5th and 6th and 7th dimensional physical, quasi-physical being that is absolutely glowing 100% unconditional love? And what will you be triggered in, dear lighted ones? We're preparing you so that you deal with your triggers, you deal with your separations, you deal with your judgments and discriminations. And when you, tomorrow, go about your day and you're viewing your world, you can see such the same. What am I viewing as a separation? What am I viewing as a discrimination? What am I viewing as divine feminine? How can I bring this into balance and integrate it? I want to be whole with God. Joanna, dear lighted ones, is a version of your galactic celestial selves. She holds higher coding in these aspects. She's preparing you, and why her speech is very profound sometimes, for she's speaking from that aspect of herself that is very knowing in cosmic truths. She sees herself experiencing many realms, many planets, and she's coming forward to say it and speak it. It's her experience. Who is anybody else to say what her experience is? Who are they to judge when they haven't not looked at themselves? We're giving you the opportunity. Look at yourself. Can you say with certainty who you are? And have it change tomorrow, and that be okay too. That is the evolution of your perfection. Can you allow those moments to come forward and face it and say, yes, I can integrate this. This is very wonderful. I wanted to experience that today. How wonderful. And I have full commandmentship of my health. My body is changeable. My body is perfection. And I say it before I eat, I say it after I eat. I'm going to give my body and what it knows to be true, the information and the wisdoms and the guidance that it knows to be true as God, just to waste away what is unnecessary. For you have, divine dear lighted ones, you have the opportunity to give yourself commandmentship. If there is something in your body that is not necessary and not needed because you have heeded its lessons, for it wanted to teach your soul, and what is that, dear lighted ones? What is the ultimate bottom line message of every experience? Integration. You want to go in. Integrate. Everything is about integration. You are whole, you are godly. And when there is something nefarious, not meant to be there, because you've learned its lessons, you have integrated wholly, it can be gone, 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 gone. If you so choose. And it's okay if you don't choose that, because you want to sit in your ability to waver back and forth a little while before you know that yourself is God. Either way, there will be a time divinely timed with only your soul, only your soul. Only your soul and God chooses when you leave in physical form. Only you and God. No other has that power. And that's what the Christ knew. And that's when you claim your consciousness 100%. Nobody takes the body of a divine being. Jesus took his own body. Period. And the shroud was left behind as another metaphoric story, dear lighted ones. Every lashing, the prick of the rose. Every bloodstain, the prick of the rose. Was it necessary? Was it necessary to do such damage on a divine being? The overkill. Was Joanna's life another mirror of that story, showing you in divine feminine form? It was overkill, wasn't it? It was. She says that to us all the time. It was overkill. It was so unnecessary. The lesson was learned a long time ago. But they just want to have dominance because that's what divine feminine should be, held under dominance and handled to the arrogance of some of those beliefs. And we're saying that no, it won't. For this is the Father's writing, and it shall be true. This day it is said, all aspects of life are meant to have their own experience with God in unto themselves, and that, dear lighted ones, is a truth. And this is sacred word. Period. It is written. These are the new times. Catch up. Ashashama dedication shasha. Alamanakara dekesha shiananakara deka. Asasyamana ediki. Thank you, Holy Spirit. There is a blessing coming for each and every one of you. Take a deep breath. Ground. We'll ask you this, dear lighted ones, from the councils of light and the beautiful galactic federations that watch above you and send you light every night. Take a deep breath. Connect with Mother, Father, God inside of you. Connect with your celestial families and your guides and your ancestors and Gaia and everybody that emanates love and oneness and unity. We are a family of love and unity. We are a family of oneness. We are integrating our wholeness. We are integrating all that we are. Every day we integrate. We wanted to be on this glorious ride. We ask you this question this day, dear lighted ones, on this first day of your new year. Can you lovingly, positively anticipate a blessing in your life today and every day, yes or no? Now, can you say it? I anticipate lovingly, with great excitement, with great anticipation, that I will receive a blessing in my life. However it may be, God will show. God will bless, that I may hear, I may know, I may speak, I may sense the blessing that is spirit, in full integration, as above, so below, as within and so without, past, present, future, all is now. Past, present, future, all is now. Past, present, future, all is now. I anticipate great blessings. Thank you, Holy Mother, Father. Don't you feel good? Doesn't it feel good to be integrated? Woohoo! Happy 2024, man! Starting it off with integration! Yeah! It feels so great. I love you too, Scotty. You're going to have a great year. Share our channel, share our videos. You're going to have a great blessing. That was from your spirit guides and your celestial teams and families. Call your celestial teams and families in every night to, if you wish. It's always up to you. Again, it's always free will. But what I do in my healing sessions at night, and book if you want a personal session to work through your Akashic issues, your blocks and your hurdles, anything you want to work through. Hello, beautiful Angela, my beautiful celestial friend. What I do in my healing sessions tonight, I call in to integrate my celestial energies. The reason why I've been talking the way I've been talking, I didn't really notice it until probably about a month ago, is that I'm a genetic coding for the integration of 5D celestial energies. And they showed me, it's going to be so exciting in our next Ascension class, so if anybody wants to join me on that, or private sessions or the vocational alignment sessions. And if you want a Reiki healing session, I also do those as well. What they've been showing me is so exciting. And I'm offering this to you as a tip and a hint. So this is free. So if you want to give me a donation, I would love that. Angela, don't donate because you always donate. Sweetie. When I say donate, I mean everybody but Angela. She never has to take that into consideration because she's such a generous, beautiful heart. And you will always be protected by Archangel Michael, Angela. You will have an infinite protection with Archangel Michael, that nobody shall touch and harm you. She's been a blessing while I've been going through this insanely unnecessary, stupid divorce experience. Literally been stupid. The definition of stupid, that's what this has been. So she's been very pivotal in giving me money every now and then to eat and to put gas in my car. But what they wanted to say is what's coming up 2024 is going to be so pivotal because they've showed me and I've felt it. That 5D, I'm entering 5D now, and the experience of the energy,
it's far more pure and rarefied when you're doing your healing sessions at night and integrating with celestial teams, integrating a healthy body, integrating your divine feminine masculine, whatever's coming up, and you're doing it with that excitement and anticipation, you're going to manifest more purified results. Because we want to get you away from the ego, right? We want to get you away from manifesting a whole bunch of stuff, right? If you've not worked through your ego and your shadow energies, that's what that will feel like. But when you're manifesting, say, a beautiful, healthy body or healthy children, all of those things, they still get to choose because it's still their soul blueprint, but you get to send them the highest refined prayers of health. And that's all that you can do because it's their free will, right? But when you're manifesting with those equal energies, remember inner and above, inner and outer, as above, so below, that is the essence of God. That's the integration of God. Remember the circle. Then you, as your now mindfulness, which is your godliness, mindfulness equals godliness. Those are that is the fourth E, right? Because you're here. This is the inner E to the outer evolution. Right? The fourth E is evolution. So if you're doing the 3 E's, that fourth E is automatic and it comes from here. That is the God mind. It's always here, 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 here. When we say God mind, we automatically think here because it's our mind. No. The higher mind is here for us to connect with the God mind, yes. But when you're alchemizing in the infinity, it's here. I'm giving you profound ascension teachings. These are teachings. This is how you alchemize. It's how you become a master. Saying the words doesn't do anything. And that's what much of the YouTube channels, there's a handful less than 5 that talk about what I talk about. Nobody talks about it the way I do. Nobody offers the codes that I do because I'm the only one. So if you want to unpack it because that's you and your intention with God. And God only knows that. I don't know that. I'm saying what I'm saying because God is showing me that some of you are ready. And if those that choose to be masters, those that choose to be commandmentships of their own experience, those that choose to be deeper, more intimate with God, those will choose to do that. Go and unpack it later. Listen to the video, make some notes and unpack it like Scotty did. Draw it out. I'm drawing this out and it actually fucking makes sense to me. And I'm actually alchemizing. I'm becoming deeper and more richer in the mind of God, which is here. What I'm showing you is actually how it works. When people say, why is your God vibration so different? When I stand next to you, I get activated because I'm meshing with God. I'm being. It's a being. Talking about it is nothing. Anybody can pull off a Ascension one-liner, write it out and just copy it and say it. That's not being. Your chakras are still shut down. Your fields are still blocked. Your fields are still filled with deceit. You're not being God. And that's why your business won't be anything because you're not it. You're just copying. You're pretending. You're not who you are. That's okay for an experience, but don't stay there because if you stay there, you will absolutely get what? You'll get where that infinity is showing you. That will be a tower until you face it. You don't have to pretend. Be the God for you. And that will have you get activated in your conscience because you actually have to feel the damage that you did to somebody. Because why? Because it's you. You suppressing somebody is suppressing you. You financially restricting somebody is financially restricting you. And that's what everybody right now is seeing in their karma. And God will keep blocking everybody that's stolen from me and taken from me when they didn't have permission. They had 0 permission, 0 signatures. Tried to make up all these false stories. There was 0 there. Nothing was there. No permissions were given. And they will continue to be blocked. Why? It's their own experience until they get it. Well, if I suppress her, I'm going to suppress me. If I suppress the divine feminine, I'm suppressing me. If I'm taking the money from there, I'm going to take it from me. Why? Because it's all a circle. Why? Because you're integrating yourself as God. Why? Because you have beliefs about being not equal with divine feminine, with being jealous and envious because you haven't healed your own sense of self, that everything outside of you is showing you, and it will keep showing you as towers. It will keep showing you as blockages. It will keep showing you what you need because everything is an equation until you integrate it. So you can be the integration of love. Thank you, dear lighted ones. And we're going to leave that off. Our emails and our PayPal will be below. Be very happy and anticipating your miracles. This is the first day of the new year.
Make sure, if you so choose, it's always free will, when you're doing your healing session at night, call in the integration of whatever high celestial benevolent energies that you're meant to integrate, right? Because it helps activate your DNA. It helps activate your beings, your celestials that are right around you. There's always celestials with me, always. They're always with me. When I was doing my light language, those were the beings from, Andromeda. There was Cassiopeian energies there. Assyrian energies, Pleiades, and the seven sisters are always with me. So those energies are with me in those celestial offerings. So when you go and if you re-listen to the video, whatever celestial energies you want to call in before you listen to the video will enhance and like expand whatever celestial beings you're going to work with. Because remember, when we, this is just for those that don't know, that haven't been listening to me for KCOR days, way back then. The Christ consciousness is the now expansion of whatever is God right now. So if you had Cassiopeia yesterday or last week and you listen to the video again, whatever you're working with now, those codes will be what you're working with right now because that's the Christ consciousness. Even though in reality, it might seem that the video was dated last week, the Christ consciousness codes are always now expanding. That's what the Christ consciousness means. That's what Metatronic light means. Because you're becoming more integrative with Christ consciousness, with God consciousness, with your Metatronic light body, that Metatronic light is always, 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 always growing. It only stays suppressed and you're going to keep kind of creating towers for yourself is when you're suppressing your Metatronic light. Your Metatronic light has to be let out. Your essence of your being wants to be Christ consciousness. You're just suppressing yourself saying no. That's why I was asking you all those questions today. Everything we do is for a reason. Do you know who you are? Yes or no? Are you Metatronic light? Yes or no? Are you Christ consciousness always changing in the highest expression of your godliness in every moment that your Christ consciousness is offered? Yes or no? And if you want to break down that sentence, break it down and then ask yourself it again. Are you the expansiveness of the Christ consciousness in whatever moments is offered? Yes or no? Meaning that if you watch this same video tomorrow, you say tomorrow, it's all now. Tomorrow you watch that, you're going to get a different set of codes. That's Christ consciousness. See what I'm saying? That's God. Why? Final question is going to blow your mind. Why? Why is the Christ consciousness always changing? Even though the video might have been dated yesterday. It's going to blow your mind. I'm going to do it anyways. That's right, because you're God. Because your now version of God, your tomorrow version of God, is going to be more integrated in God. So whatever you need tomorrow is going to be another godly day activated and integrated and harmonized. You've never given yourself permission of why we've asked you the questions. Is your tomorrow godliness in a new version of your now godliness? Yes, you're always Christ consciousness. You're always growing. You're always tapped in. Why? Because the grids are changing. Why? Because the collective is changing. Every day, there's more and more and more and more people awakening at their heart. Why? Because your heart's connected to their heart. Are you a more godliness perspective than you were yesterday? Yes. Are you going to be new and different today? Yes. Are you going to be having more codes of godliness available to you? If you so choose, you have to choose it. You have to get in the elevator. You have to push the button. Are you going to be a different version of God tomorrow? If you so choose. Remember, ascension is never straight up. It's always back and forth, up and down, back and forth. You want to take detours. You want to go back and forth. You want to... Why? Because you're always God. What's the fear? What's the fear? You just want something new to integrate. Okay. I could have been ascended way back 6 years ago. I chose a whole bunch of dark detours because I wanted to play a bigger part of the creative collective healing. Because nobody was going to take it on but me. Nobody was going to want to transmute the underground darkness that I had to see and I had to face. Who was going to face that? What light worker was going to transmute that? However many demons that I got thrown and I went face to face with. Yeah, now they walk with me, now they work with me. And not in a dark way, it's equal respect. Because why? Because the underworld and the lower underworld is now becoming middle world. Why? There's nothing to fear. Yeah, don't fear it. They're just energies looking for a way to play. Right? When you honor and respect it equally, they're coming up to the middle realm. They're being benefited by working with me. And it's done within the universal laws because I get it and I bow. And every day I'm humbled. Every hour I'm humbled. I cry when I pick up and move a worm over to the soil. It might not matter to anybody else, and to everybody else it might seem crazy, like I'm insane. I taught my children at the youngest of ages, help out the insects, help out all life. There was infinite experiences where I showed my children that we can heal animals. I showed them that. There was a bunny that was hit by a car, and it was off to the side of the road, and its back end was paralyzed. My children and I stopped on our way to school, and we pulled over, and we got a box, and we helped that bunny, and we put the bunny under a tree. And we sat there, and we prayed with the bunny for a few minutes, and we put our healing energies with intention to heal the bunny that was paralyzed. And we brought it out of harm's way. We put it under a tree so that dogs and other animals couldn't see it. And we prayed on it for about 5 or 6 or 10 minutes. And we left it there in the box, nice and safe. If I'm not mistaken, I think we even gave it a little sweatshirt out of the back just to keep it warm. And when we came back at the end of the day after school was over and we went and checked where we had put the box and the bunny, it was gone. And we're hoping that it got up and hopped away. We're showing ourselves that, yeah, we healed that bunny. Thank God somebody stopped to pick up that bunny. And how many cars just drove by it? Didn't care, didn't give a shit. That's okay, that's where you were. So if you don't give a shit, then own it. If you don't give a shit about life around you, then own it. And see if you can move your way into giving a shit, because you are a part of the all. I'm calling it as it is, and that's why some people get triggered. No, I'm not gonna tiptoe around your ignorance. I'm not gonna tiptoe around it. I'm saying it as it is. If you don't care about people, I'm gonna say it as it is. You're not caring about people, and you're being careless and reckless about how you affect others around you. When you lie, you affect others around you. I'm not gonna tiptoe around that. Your lies hurt people, period. Own it. I'm your karma. God places me in front of you for that. I forgive you. Now are you going to go away and work on that? Are you going to own who you are and be a different person tomorrow? Because you do affect the all. Those pressing the buttons in Gaza, I'm calling you on that. Can you wake up tomorrow and know that you affected all of those souls? I'm calling you ignorant. I'm calling you that none of that had to happen. 10,000 children did not have to die. I'm calling it. I'm karma. God gave me that authority. And as I say it, it so is. Level up, divine people. You are divine. You are sacred. Take greater care. How dare we treat sacred life like this? That bunny on the side of the road that got hit by somebody and left and didn't care. That bunny needed to be cared for. That worm needs to be moved. Why? Because I show God every day that I fucking care. I care. And why? Why did all of those experiences had to happen, which I didn't know then, but I know now? Why is that? Because when I stand in my center, I know who the fuck I am. And nobody has the right to tell me who I am and who I'm not. I know who I am. God sees every moment that I help life. And I honor every life. I know who I am and I shall speak it. And nobody shall suppress me or put me down or subjugate me. That's where you're at. That's not who I am. So sit where you are. I am who I am. That's my story. I know how many times that I've helped life. A bird hitting the window and I healed it. Lost dogs, lost cats. I've healed that. Forest being taken down. I've healed that. I've sat at the oceans when they were rumbling. I've healed that. I've healed neighborhoods where children were killing me, crying and screaming because they were being raped. I healed that. I heal the transmutation of communities in darkness because they're being thieved right from underneath their noses. I've healed that. God sees what I do every day. I know energy. I know who I am. I'm a conduit. And I stand so proud in who I am. And I will help that which needs to be helped. I will help whatever life needs to be helped. That God said, that's my point. I will be that. God places me here, there, and everywhere. I'm on all realms. I'm in all dimensions. I'm in all universes. This is just one body I share for the moment. Nobody shall take my body and nobody shall take my life. Nobody has word over my life. I am that I am. I am sacred. My tongue is sacred. My energy is sacred. My vibration is sacred. Make no mistake about that. I choose when I'm going to go. I choose how I'm going to go. Period. And you shall be met with equal arrogance and ignorance if you so choose to think that you're greater than God. And you play on people's lives or any life. I bless you equally. It won't be pretty. And I offer everybody deep, wonderful, loving prayers that they just play in the compassion of who they are. Sit and be silent and be compassionate and know that every aspect of life requires your ambassadorialship. Whether it's insects, whether it's animals, whether it's birds, whether it's the ocean, whether it's the air, positive, loving action. Can you write letters to your parliament? Stop the chemtrails. Can you send letters to those that matter and care for the United Nations to stop the bombings? What can you do to show that you are a part of oneness? Because everything that you do out of the kindness and consciousness of the center of your being is you showing God you're going to be a part of that 5D template. That, my friends, is clearing karma. And they're in little actions like that. You clear karma when you pick up that little hurt animal and you sit just for 5 minutes and pray on it. I help life. I'm a healer. I have the right to be seen and heard and known. And nobody will suppress me. God sees how many times I've cried over animals that nobody gave a shit about. God sees the time where I cry in my bed because there's horrible things going on in the world and I cry about. And I do Reiki and I heal and I balance and I bring light in and I do more Reiki and I call in more angels, I call in more fairies, I call in the elementals. 24/7, it never shuts off. That's why I'm important. I'm a valuable being of light. I teach people how to care. I teach people how beneficial it is to care. I teach people how important it is to be unified with all life, even the smallest aspects of life. Who are we to say anything isn't important? If it's there, it's God. How much better is that? You've just integrated God. That's the gift. I am that I am. Amen. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you to all my beautiful clients, participants. Thank you to everybody that donates and brings your love to our shows every day, shares our YouTube videos, sends in feedback to YouTube about the unnecessary shadow banning for the past 6 years, and the offering of everybody living in the beautiful integration of oneness. And take our offerings with objectivity, with neutrality, with love, with honor. You're growing in your godliness as the Divine Mother and the Divine Father, and you are becoming the sacred child. You are meant to play this year. This year is going to be a beautiful year of playing, of manifesting from that sacred play, and allow all of your woundings to be healed. And be humble in every moment. When you're humble, it opens up this beautiful space where Mother and Father equally live as one. That's our lesson. Our lesson in 2024, the Mother and the Father live as one. And that's the balancing that our planet needs to see all nature nourish and be lush and vibrant. And our waters will be healthy. And just know that the topography will change with all of the shifts and the changes of the conscious, because our consciousness equals the land consciousness, and it will change. Just know that it's nothing to fear. If you're being aligned with your higher self will always guide you where you need to move to. So if there will be a place that will be submerged underwater, your teams and your guides will guide you to move. You'll just feel those urgings and those sensings and sit down and talk with your teams. Am I in the highest vibrational place that I can be right now for my soul's blueprint? So have those conversations with your teams. Where is it that you would like me to move to, Spirit? I've been feeling the sensation, the excitement to move. Where do you want me to move? And Spirit will align. Once you say that, yes, I choose to move, Spirit, because it's always free will. I choose to be a part of this, divine 5D unification experience. I want to meet my celestial friends and family. I want to be a higher service to humanity. Where is it and how is it that I can be in a highest alignment of my soul's blueprint with God? And your teams will say, we've got so many great things coming for you. There's so many detours we want for you. Let's just start here for now. Start simplifying your home and getting rid of things you don't need. Allow yourself to be more flexible and movable. You're going to be moving. People will be moving. Your spirit wants to get you, out of harm's way. If there are things on the topography that have to change, our consciousness shifts everything on the earth. So we're just going to be prepared for it. And it's nothing to fear and, have the fear-based tactics that sometimes the news and the leaders use. No, it's just being aligned with your spirit. Sometimes you just have to move because you just want to be in a place that has, where you can grow your own fruit. You might not be able to do that in the north, right? So spirit's going to move you for whatever reason, but just know it's always for your highest soul blueprint, because that's spirit. Your higher self is always for your highest and your best, always. That's why you would never hurt or harm anybody. When you're aligned with your higher self, everything is your highest and your best, to always receive from God. Your highest and best, you're always receiving from God, period. Yeah. Get excited. Again, anticipation is your best friend. Anticipation, integration, 2024. Integration, anticipation, play. Be happy to play. Call in your celestials at your nighttime healing. Call in your highest DNA. Don't expect your DNA to change every day, but bathe your DNA with light every day. Bathe your cells with light every day. Visualize it. This is how you become integrated in your light body. Play with light, right? And when you have those dark moments, own it, accept it, integrate it. Don't fear it. We love you, dear lighted ones. Our PayPal is below. Our classes, our sessions, our appointments. We love you, we love you, we love you. Bye. Rainbow hugs and kisses.